The male lead has a face identical to mine, but am the heir to the wealthiest family. Has just some Z-list celebrity to prove has just as good as me. So, he decided to seduce my fiancée, planning to stir up some trouble at my wedding. But before they could even make their move, I beat them to the punch and announced the wedding was off. The moment the words "wedding is off" left my mouth, the whole place erupted. What's going on? But wait, I thought he and Miss Yang were childhood sweethearts, and they were supposed to be so in love. The Yang family really shot themselves in the foot this time. Amidst a wave of Elin Yu Chao Xiao Shenzhong murmurs and Chao Xiao Shenzhong laughter, with a dark expression, Yang Yuting walked up to the stage and snapped, "Zhang Chen, what kind of occasion is this? Do you have any idea what's going on? Are you out of your mind?" The crowd erupted in an uproar. Look at that attitude. She totally deserved to be jilted. I mean, she's the heir to the richest family after all. Anyone would think she was just yelling at her own maid. And old Master Jiang's face darkened instantly. How dare that girl from the Yang family be so audacious right under his nose? Imagine what she's like behind closed doors. Yang Yuting never wanted to marry me. She was just doing it under pressure from his grandfather. But when I announced I was calling off the wedding, her first reaction was to refuse. But soon, Yang Yuting told herself, the one he truly loved was Zhang Yihan. She just couldn't accept it. How could he just throw away all my years of careful planning? Jiang Chen just called off the wedding, just like that. Today is the grand day of the Jiang and Yang family's marriage alliance. The groom calls off the wedding on the day of the ceremony. You can just imagine. After today, hell become the laughingstock of the entire North City. A sharp, fierce glint shot through Yang Yuting's eyes. No, this wedding is not happening. Not now. Not ever. Even though the situation is so dire right now. As soon as Yang Yuting spoke, her tone was still one of scolding and command. Jiang Chen, can you please stop being so reckless and unreasonable? Today is the day our two families are joined in marriage. Whatever it is, we can talk about it after the wedding. Before I could even get a word in, old Master Jiang declared in a resounding voice, this wedding is over. With that, he patted me on the back. A reassuring gesture. Then, as he turned to Yang Yuting, his eyes instantly turned as sharp as a knife. Yang Yuting was initially intimidated by his imposing presence. But on second thought, after all, she wasn't the one who called off the wedding on the big day. Logically, he should be the victim here. He completely turned the tables and positioned himself on the moral high ground. He then spoke to the old man as if they were equals. Grandpa Zhang Chen, has making a scene demanding a divorce. On such an important day, we can't just let him have his way, can we? Her tone clearly meant, you'd better get your grandson under control, and fast. Old Master Jiang shot the other person a glance. A glint of coldness flashed in his weathered eyes. He spoke with immense authority. My grandson, Zhang Hongtao's grandson, has the right to be willful. He can do whatever he wants. In an instant, the entire banquet hall was plunged into absolute silence, even though the old master hadn't laid a finger on her. And yet, it was as if everyone could hear the slap. The sound of a slap across Yang Yuting's face. Yang Yuting had always had a charmed life. She had never been so humiliated in public before. He couldn't help but speak up and question him. Grandfather Jiang, are you trying to sever all ties with our Yang family? The words had barely been spoken, and this time, the sound of a slap was all too real. Yang Yuting's face was slapped to the side, and the one who had struck her was none other than her own grandfather, Old Master Yang. Yang Yuting covered her face in disbelief. Grandfather Yang was so furious his beard was trembling. He slammed his hand on the table. How dare you still call me Grandpa? Apologize to your grandpa, Zhang. Now, at this moment, Yang Yuting's face was filled with a look of utter grievance. Tears started streaming down her face. She then turned and bolted from the wedding venue. This shocking turn of events left all the guests completely stunned. Old Master Yang's face was as dark as a thundercloud. The banquet hall instantly erupted. So, is this wedding even happening anymore? The bride's already gone. What wedding? Young Master Jiang was planning to call off the engagement anyway. This is perfect. Just think of how many women's hearts were broken when young Master Zhang got engaged. And now, the opportunity has come again. I walked up to the microphone to bring the room to order. Thank you all for coming. It is with great regret that I must announce, my engagement to Yang Yuting is hereby terminated. From now on, let's just live our own lives. With that, I turned and left. And just like that, the highly anticipated wedding of the century. And just like that, it came to a dramatic end. After the wedding, seeing that I was unfazed, only then did he relax and say with a smile, Xiao Chen, why the sudden decision to break off the engagement with the Yang girl? My expression remained calm. I found out she was seeing someone else. She even called me before the wedding, saying she only married me for the Jiang family's fortune. And once I've earned your trust, the Yang family would take over the Jiang family and then kick me to the curb. There was some truth to that. I never heard that phone call, but that's exactly what Yang Yuting did next. Grandpa Jiang was so furious he slammed his hand on the table and stood up. What? Did that girl from the Yang family really say that? I nodded, my answer firm and absolute. Every word is true, if it were just a simple affair. I could have tolerated that. But what I will never tolerate is someone scheming against the Jiang family. Old Master Jiang struggled to contain his fury. Xiao Chen, it's all right. Grandfather, I will make Yang Yuting pay for this. But as he finished speaking, his tone had turned icy, laced with a chilling intent to kill. But I suddenly shook my head. Grandpa, just dealing with Yang Yuting won't solve the problem. Ultimately, that's just treating the symptoms, not the root cause. The truth is, I want to join the Jiang Corporation. Old Master Jiang was stunned for a moment. Why this sudden interest in joining the company? Zhao Chen, his reaction is perfectly normal. The original owner of this body had been obsessed with painting since childhood and had made a bit of a name for himself in the art world. Although Grandpa Jiang wanted to groom me to take over the family business, but seeing that my heart wasn't in it, so he let me pursue my dream. Jiang Chen, and your greatest passion is painting. Grandpa just wants you to do what you truly want to do. A warmth spread through my heart. This old man truly has his grandson's best interest at heart, but it's a shame the old man can't protect me forever. Otherwise, Jiang Chen from my past life wouldn't have met such a miserable end. Grandpa, you can't be with me forever. I've made up my mind. I'm taking over the company. The old man nodded, pleased. I'm taking over the company. Most importantly, I need to deal with that guy, Jiang Yihan. Meanwhile, on the other side, Jiang Yihan suddenly shuddered. He couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching him from the shadows, but he quickly brushed off this uneasiness. He turned around. His eyes lit up with surprise as he gazed at the woman before him.
Yuting.
What are you doing here?
Meanwhile, Jiang Yihan was back at his apartment, drowning his sorrows in alcohol. He never expected Yang Yuting to show up out of the blue. Their struggle moved from the doorway to the bed. Their affair lasted until nightfall. Afterwards, Jiang Yihan cautiously asked, "But isn't today your wedding with Jiang Chen?"
You just came over like this.
But before he could finish, but was cut off by Yang Yuting. Let's not talk about him. The engagement is off. Jiang Yihan's eyes lit up. Really? So you're really not going to marry him? A strange feeling flickered through Yang Yuting's heart, but that feeling was quickly drowned out by years of resentment. The one who called off the engagement after a night of passion. The next day, Jiang Yihan arrived at Jiang's entertainment looking absolutely radiant. Eat Jiang's entertainment. Everyone knows Jiang Yihan has a mysterious sugar daddy backing him up. Hez clearly just a third-rate celebrity. Yet he lives in a company apartment and gets chauffeured around in a van. This kind of treatment would make even A-listers jealous. A few minor celebrities immediately greeted him respectfully. "Hello, Yihan." Jiang Yihan nodded back with a smile. Hez in an especially good mood today. Hez not even bothering to pretend anymore. Yang Yuting finally agreed not to marry that Jiang family heir. Just as she stepped out of the elevator, she ran into her agent, Fang Lingling. "Good morning." Jiang Yihan gave her a gentle smile. Fang Lin's expression turned serious. "Jiang is the new president, a direct appointment from the top. Company's about to get a major shakeup. I have a meeting on the 33rd floor." Unbothered, Jiang Yihan stepped aside to let them pass, with Yang Yuting backing him up. "No one can touch me." Just then, Fang Lin smirked mysteriously. "Oh, by the way, there are a few scripts for the male lead in the dressing room. You're about to break into the A-list." Jiang Yihan's eyes lit up. He excitedly grabbed Fang Ling's arm. "Sister Ling, is this for real?" Fang Ling nodded with a smile. Jiang Yihan rushed back to the dressing room, frantically searching for the script. Hez finally going to be the leading man. A brilliant career was just within his grasp. Conference room, 33rd floor, Huangtian building. The top executives from each department had been whispering among themselves. Everyone was speculating about the new president, who had just been parachuted in to lead the Jiang group. Everyone was worried about their own future.
10 o'clock sharp.
Heavy conference room doors slowly creaked open. I walked in, commanding the room with my presence. The senior executives were secretly taken aback. This new CEO is just a kid. A look of disdain appeared on the faces of many. My gaze swept across the crowd. I began to speak, my voice calm and steady.
"I'm Jiang Chen."
Just 3 simple words, and the entire room's atmosphere shifted in an instant. This is the young master of the Jiang group, after all. The executives, who were just looking down on him a moment ago, immediately put on a smile. "Good day, young Master Jiang." I crossed my legs. "From now on, you will address me as President Jiang." Everyone chorused in response. "Understood, President Jiang." I nodded in satisfaction. "Good. Take over Jiang's entertainment." This went smoother than I expected. Being the young master does have its perks. Fang Ling, whose name had just been called, felt her heart tighten. "What can I do for you, President Jiang?" I said, feigning nonchalance. "You have an artist under your management named Jiang Yihan, don't you?" Fang Lin replied cautiously.
Yes.
Hez 21 years old.
Years old.
Hez played the male lead's rival in a few major productions. Hez currently a C-list artist at the company. Hearing that, the corner of my mouth twitched up. I glanced at Fang Lin.
What a coincidence.
We share the same last name. I've already looked into it. Jiang Yihan's original agent wasn't Fang Lin. It was all Yang Yuting's doing, pulling the strings behind the scenes to get him swapped in. Now it's time to set things right. Fang Lin couldn't quite figure out what the young master was thinking. I can only give a neutral assessment. Jiang Yihan's commercial value is pretty good, and no major scandals for now. Suddenly, my smile vanished. That guy, Ye, whose name sounds like mine. I really don't like it. You know what to do, don't you? Fang Ling's smile froze on her face. "Don't worry, President Jiang, I understand. On the 17th floor, Jiang Yihan was poring over a script. The projects Fang Ling picked for her are pretty good. From Shanxia and urban dramas to campus romances, they've got it all. Jiang Yihan's favorite was this Shanxia script. The story follows a young man from a small town who accidentally embarks on a path of cultivation and gets entangled in love-hate dramas with his master, the Demon Lord, and the Demon Emperor, entangling in a web of love and hate with various female characters. He was fantasizing about becoming an overnight sensation after landing the leading role and become a top-tier celebrity. Just as Maimeng Fangling, dreaming of a future flooded with movie deals and endorsements, pushed the door open and walked in. Jiang Yihan was all smiles. Welcome back, Sister Ling. So, who's the new CEO? I've read the script. Lian Shangxian is a great choice. Fang Lin cut in, his face expressionless. But I can't give you Lian Shangxian. Jiang Yihan's smile froze on his face. A flash of disappointment flickered in his eyes, but he quickly composed himself. How about that youth drama? This campus drama is not bad either. Fang Lin cut in again, and it's not for you either. Jiang Yihan's eyes widened. Sister Ling, are you kidding me? Fang Lin sneered. Who's joking? Starting today, all of your resources are being withdrawn. Transfer them to Qinyang. This is a notice. This is not a discussion. Jiang Yihan's voice trembled.
What? You're giving all my resources to Qinyang.
Why? Fang Ling retorted coldly.
Think about it.
Who have you pissed off recently?
Jiang Yihan's expression changed in an instant. Could it be? The other side. CEO's office on the 33rd floor. I spun my chair around languidly. The system's voice rang in my ears. To redeem Gu Qingshui, a wicked smirk crept across my face. That's a good name. So, should I change his fate?
Interesting.
Let's see just how tragic Gu Qingshui's ending will be in this lifetime. In this life, Gu Qingshui is the textbook definition of a villainess. As a popular idol, she was destined for a brilliant career. But her life took a turn for the worse, all because she caught the eye of the male lead, Jiang Yihan. But the problem was, Yang Yuting had her eyes on Jiang Yihan. This inexplicably brought a world of trouble down on Gu Qingshui. Under the pressure from the Yang group, Gu Qingshui was soon embroiled in a major scandal and lost all her savings and was left saddled with a mountain of debt. To make matters worse, his gravely ill mother, not wanting to be a burden, and took her own life by removing her oxygen tube. After suffering one blow after another, Gu Qingshui eventually fell into a deep depression and chose to end her life by slitting her wrists. Meanwhile, Gu Qingshui pulled down the brim of her black cap as she stepped out of the Jiang's entertainment building. His agent had just hinted to him that a wealthy businessman has taken a liking to her. All you have to do is make a little sacrifice and you'll be back on top. The casting couch is just a normal part of the industry. The manager tried to coax her. Gu Qingshui walked away without a second glance. From behind her came the Jinjiren's furious roar, humiliated and enraged. Stop acting so high and mighty. After being blacklisted by CEO Yang, you'll be begging me sooner or later. The young woman bit her pale lip. Clutching the medical bill, she rushed to the hospital. Gu Qingshui pushed open the door to the hospital room. The woman in the hospital bed was pale, but you could still see the beauty she once had in her features. Qingshui is here. Gu Qingshui hurried over to her. Mom, don't get up. Here. Let me help you. Gus' mother started asking about her daily life.
Is work not keeping you busy lately?
Why do you come to see me every day? Gu Qingshui brushed it off casually. I'm done now. She didn't want her mother to know about all the unpleasant things going on. The mother and daughter chatted for a while. She stayed until her mother fell asleep. Only then did Gu Qingshui tiptoe out of the ward. Just as she closed the door, suddenly her phone started to vibrate. A private message popped up on her job hunting app. Need a figure model, 10,000 an hour. Staring at the words, 10,000 an hour. Short on cash, Gu Qingshui was tempted. Half an hour later, Gu Qingshui stood at the entrance of the Shuimo Lanting Villa complex. This was a luxury residential area. She couldn't even afford back when she was at the peak of her fame. The moment was incredibly overwhelming for him. The moment she pressed the doorbell, he almost turned and fled. After being blacklisted across the internet, she was completely sidelined. She was even deliberately made things difficult for. Unable to find work, she had no choice but to be on her guard. After all, with a face like hers. And there were plenty of men with designs on her. The villa's main gate slowly swung open, unexpectedly, but a young girl. Gu Qingshui. She secretly breathed a sigh of relief. Hello, I'm Gu Qingshui. I'm here to apply for the life model position. The girl's eyes widened as she pointed at her.
Aren't you that big star?
I used to be. In a calm tone. Shall we begin now? The girl quickly waved her hands. I'm not the one who asked you to come? It was our young master. Please, come in. Following Zhao Lan, Gu Qingshui walked into the villa, in front of the art studio on the second floor. Xiao Lan stopped in her tracks. The young master said you should go in by yourself. Xiao Lan lowered her voice. Remember this? Whatever the young master says, you must do exactly as he says. And don't you dare question it. Gi Chengshui gave a soft nod. Take Zhao Lan and leave. He had just stepped into the art studio. At the same time, a languid voice drifted over. Take off your clothes. The young woman's face flushed instantly. Take off your clothes. Panicked, Gu Qingshui took a step back. I'm just here to be a model.
Not for.
With that, she turned to leave, behind the easel. Suddenly, a soft chuckle was heard. Gu Qingshui froze mid-step. What are you laughing
laughing at?
Gu Qingshui knew she should leave immediately, but that laugh, it was like a spell, holding her captive. A lazy voice came from behind the easel. I think you've misunderstood why I asked you to take off your clothes. I twirl the paintbrush between my fingers. Miss Gu, do you remember what you're here for today? The young woman bit her lip. A life model. That's right. I put down my paintbrush. His tone was tinged with a subtle, almost imperceptible flirtation. I'm going to paint your body. Gu Qingshui stood frozen in place. A faint blush crept to the tips of her ears. Reason told her to leave, but her legs felt as if they had taken root. Just then, a soft chuckle came from behind the easel again. Good! From now on, well, do things my way. My voice suddenly took on a commanding tone. And no questions asked. Understood. The girl blushed and nodded. Suddenly, I spoke up. The young lady Miss Gu turned around. I was walking towards her. Footsteps draw near. Gu Qingshui. So my client is a man. I just didn't expect him to be so noble and handsome. I paced around, sizing up Gu Qingshui. When I walked around to stand in front of her, finally, Gu Qingshui couldn't hold back any longer and spoke up.
What are you looking at?
I said with a wicked grin. Just checking the goods. I've got to see if you're up to snuff, don't I? I suddenly leaned in close to Gu Qingshui. Her breath caught in her throat. His face was so close, making her blush and her heart pound. I watched her innocent reaction. He chuckled to himself.
Wow. The villainess this time is actually so innocent.
Interesting.
My fairy-like sister.
You seem a little nervous.
When Gu Qingshui heard him call her sister, she flinched slightly. Ever since she was blacklisted by the entire industry's hacker companies, it had been a long time since anyone had called her that. I leaned in close to her ear. I called out to her again, this time with a playful tone. Is something wrong, sis? The tips of Gu Qingshui's ears instantly turned crimson. I'm not nervous. I'm just a little warm. I gently pinched her burning earlobe.
But sis,
your ears are all red. Gu Qingshui grabbed my hand. Don't just touch my ear, I said with a wicked grin. I'm not just touching you. I'm being very deliberate. Gu Qingshui. I'm at a loss for words. I waved my hand. All right, I'll stop teasing you. Now take off your clothes. The air stood still for a few seconds. Gu Qingshui knew I just wanted to paint, but the blunt command still made the tips of her ears burn. She whispered shyly, could you please turn around first? The corner of my eye lifted slightly. Looks like someone's shy. It's not Gu Qingshui. Her voice was light. I'm just not used to someone watching me undress. I chuckled. And you say you're not shy? It's just a few glances, sis. So shy? Are we? Hold on. I'm going to draw you without any clothes on, but I'll have to stare at you the whole time. How about I help you take it off? Let's get you used to it first. Gu Qingshui frantically refused. No. That's okay. I couldn't help but let out a chuckle. Gu Qingshui still couldn't bring herself to be naked in front of a man. I glanced at the time. It's 2:45 p.m. You said it'd be 10,000 an hour. I nodded. I did say that, but are you really just going to let me draw you like this? Gu Qingshui's eyes were clearly asking in return.
What else?
Of course not. We're doing a photo shoot. Even photographers will ask you to strike a pose. Smile for the camera. Are you really going to just stand there, stiff as a board, and let me paint you? Gu Qingshui pondered for a moment. Look at me. So, what's the theme of your painting? I said with a mischievous grin. Temptation and desire. Hearing this, Gu Qingshui's face froze. Temptation and desire, even in front of the camera. The former idol star who was never afraid of the stage, but after hearing me ask her to convey these two words, couldn't help but feel a bit awkward. The persona the company had previously crafted for Gu Qingshui, an aloof idol, a persona that actually fits her real personality. Gu Qingshui was now embarking on a more alluring and youthful image. Hearing my words, Gu Qingshui looked a little flustered. She was even starting to stammer. Seeing this, I just waved my hand. I opened my mouth to say, never mind. Don't bother taking it off. And you don't need to pose either. Let's just paint it like this. With that, I sat back down at my easel. I picked up my paintbrush and began dabbing little flowers onto the canvas. Lin Feifei had been holding it in for a long time. Finally, she couldn't hold it in any longer and blurted out, "Master," she said, her voice full of conflict. I'm not sure treating the supreme god like that was such a good idea. I immediately corrected her. The little flower spirit Feifei isn't the supreme god, just one of the fragments of the main god. Little flower spirit Feifei fluttered her wings. I guess that's not wrong, but love is the master. But Hez the chief god. Aren't you afraid of the Lord God for doing this? Aren't you afraid hell come after you for this later?
what's there to be afraid of?
Whether he lets me flirt with him or not, that's a test of his character. As for whether Hez provoked or not,
Well, that's where my skills come in.
and what's the big deal? It's all just a game to me, a little smile, a little flirt. Am I supposed to pity all living things? I'm just flirting a little. I'm not actually doing anything. I haven't committed any unforgivable cardinal sins. Master, you're just flirting with them. You're not actually doing anything. Meanwhile, I'm over here flirting with the fragments of the main god. Hez having the time of his life flirting, but as for Zhang Yihan, he wasn't so lucky. As for Zhang Yihan, his mood could only be described as utterly gloomy. His agent Fang Lin blamed him for offending a powerful figure. They shut him down. All the work and resources that were originally his were all funneled to Qin Yangyang. It looked like they were pushing the newcomer, Qin Yangyang to the spotlight while preparing to shelve her. Although Jang Yihan only got into the entertainment industry to chase after his favorite star, but once you've had a taste of the spotlight and the feeling of being the center of attention, and who would be willing to give it all up and willingly go back to where they came from, go back to being ordinary and become just another ordinary person lost in the crowd. But in any case, Jang Yihan was not willing to do that. Being a celebrity is so much better, isn't it? Everywhere he goes, he's adored by his fans, just by shooting a random commercial, or shoot a TV series and make millions, even when he's just doing something incredibly simple and ordinary. And a crowd of fans would immediately swarm over to praise Jang Yihan. He relished the feeling of being in the spotlight. This, without a doubt, was the ultimate boost to his ego. Now, Fangling was making moves to blackball him. He couldn't bear the thought of losing everything that came with his celebrity status. Naturally, Jang Yihan panicked. The first person Jang Yihan thought to turn to for help was none other than Yang Yuding, but for someone who's built his image on being resilient and self-reliant persona. The male lead with his tough yet charming rags to riches persona, Jang Yihan, how can he just run to Yang Yuding for help every time something goes wrong? In that case, how is he any different from some kept man? But seeing that Jang Yihan was upset, Yang Yuting, who was standing nearby, it was written all over his face. He had feelings for Jang Yihan. He booked an entire high-end restaurant for a candlelit dinner in the elegant atmosphere. After a glass of red wine, Yang Yuting had simply asked a question.
What's wrong, Han?
And so, feeling completely wronged, she told him everything that had happened at the company during the day, and told him how Fang Lin had bullied me. Sister Ling said I've offended someone powerful. It was an order from the top to blacklist and bury my career. But Yuting, I've always gotten along with everyone. How could I possibly offend anyone?
Yuting becoming a star.
That was my dream.
So, is he about to be ruined now?
He then distanced himself from the matter. It was as if he was hinting at something. And just as Jiang Yihan had hoped, Yang Yuting did not disappoint and immediately caught his drift. He spoke almost immediately. Yihan, you've always been so pure and kind-hearted. How could you possibly offend anyone? It must be Jiang Chen's doing. Huangtian Entertainment is a subsidiary of the Jiang Group. She must have found out about you. That's why he called off the wedding that day. Yang Yuding almost let those two words slip. Luckily, she stopped herself just in time. Otherwise, if Jiang Yihan found out, she got dumped by the man she despised the most.
Wouldn't that just make me a laughingstock?
Yang Yuding paused for a moment. She tried to blur the word cancelled wedding from her mind. She remembered how I called off the wedding right on the day itself. This only fueled Yihan's growing resentment. Don't worry. I'll make sure Jiang Cheng pays for what has done. Naturally, Jiang Yihan believed Yang Yuding's words. With Yang Yuding's assurance, he was no longer worried. After their romantic dinner, Yang Yuting called the waiter over to pay the bill and slapped down a black card. But just a moment later, the waiter returned with the card. Sorry, ma'am. Your card has been declined. Would you like to use another card?
Yang Yuting's face fell.
The card is frozen. But it didn't take him long to figure it out. It must be Mr.
Yang's doing.
Because he ran out on her on their wedding day. So, old Master Yang hit him with financial sanctions. As for his other cards, it's a no-brainer. Must have been frozen as well. He booked out an entire high-end restaurant and enjoy a romantic candlelit dinner. Just the two of them. But it turns out they didn't have the money to pay the bill. Well, this is awkward. This was the most humiliating moment of Yang Yuding's entire life. And to make matters worse, it was all in front of the man she loved. In the end, it was Jiang Yihan who, being so considerate, stepped in. He took the initiative to pull out his own card and pay the bill. Jiang Yihan knew that Yang Yuting was proud and arrogant. She was worried she might upset Yang Yuting, and quickly said in a soft, gentle voice, "Oh, Yuting, this is actually the first time I've paid for a meal when we're out together. You know this feeling? It's actually pretty nice. Let me pay a few more times in the future. How about we get to experience this feeling more often, huh?" Jiang Yihan was smart enough not to ask Yang Yuting.
Why was my card frozen?
He skillfully diffused the awkward situation for Yang Yuting with his way with words. And just as Jiang Yihan said, Yang Yuting's expression finally softened a little. The two of them returned to Jiang Yihan's apartment.
Yang Yuting made a call to Old Master Yang.
The first words out of her mouth were to question her grandfather.
Why did you freeze my credit cards?
Old Master Yang let out a cold laugh. A few days later, finally, Yang Yuting's call came through. But instead, she was there to demand why had frozen her credit cards. Yang Yuting. What a wonderful granddaughter she is. Old Master Yang called her by her full name, began to speak slowly. The reason Yang Yuting had your card suspended, you know perfectly well why. Yang Yuting's tone was just as firm. He gripped his phone tightly. She spoke indignantly. Grandpa, I've told you this before. I don't like Jiang Chen. You're the one who forced me to marry him. Old Master Yang was so furious he almost laughed. To be able to marry the grandson of the wealthiest man, something countless women in Lancheng would kill for. But of course, that damn fool Yang Yuting just couldn't get it through her head. Shez got a perfectly good heir to the richest man in the city. Don't fall for some actress. Then who do you love?
That actress.
Yang Yuting. Don't forget who you are. Without the Yang family, you are nothing. You have 3 days to think it over. Either you come back and apologize to Jiang Chen and beg for her forgiveness to continue the wedding, or I will take back every single asset under your name. Financial sanctions have always been a classic move for the head of the family, but it was obvious that Yang Yuting had never been toughened up by the real world. The young lady from a wealthy family. He replied with 2 words, his tone even colder than the old man's. With that, Sweening hung up the phone. This absolutely infuriated old Master Yang. Furious, he ordered all assets under Yang Yuting's name to be seized. At this point, Yang Yuting had been reduced to running away from home. The once privileged heiress now left penniless and destitute. But instead of being disgusted by her, he was deeply moved. He wraps his arms around her from behind.
Yuting.
I heard everything you and your grandfather said. You only fell out with your family because of me. From now on, let me be the one to take care of you.
Okay.
Yang Yuting was absolutely furious. He just felt that old Master Yang had been pushing him, filling his heart with resentment. All this pent-up frustration with nowhere to go. If Zhang Yihan were to try and reason with her at a time like this, and apologize to old Master Yang, and go back to the Yang family, Yang Yuting wouldn't just not be grateful. Instead, she'll just take her anger out on Zhang Yihan. But hearing Zhang Yihan say that, Yang Yuting, on the other hand, felt that there was still someone in the world who understood her. Suddenly, Zhang Yihan, who offered to take care of her, seemed incredibly charming. Yihan, I knew I wasn't wrong about you. The fallen heiress kicked out of her own home, and so Yang Yuting moved into Zhang Yihan's small apartment. After being accustomed to living in mansions and luxury villas, this was the first time she had ever crammed herself into such a tiny apartment. For Yang Yuting, it was a rare and novel experience. The two of them spent several days lost in each other. It was only then that Zhang Yihan remembered his own career as a celebrity. Yang Yuting decided to go with Zhang Yihan to Huangtian Entertainment. Shez planning to back Zhang Yihan up.
Yihan, I'm going with you.
I'd really like to see what this agent of yours is made of. Let's see if they still dare to bully you. Huangtian Entertainment. Yang Yuting was holding Zhang Yihan's hand. She exuded the powerful aura of a wealthy, pampered heiress. Her icy gaze, cold as a winter night, fell upon Fang Lin. So you're the one who's been bullying my Yihan and gave his resources to someone else. And you even tried to bury his career. Fang Ling was both shocked and furious. She glanced at Zhang Yihan. Yang Yuting's face has even been in the business section of the newspaper. The fiancé of the son of Lansheng's richest man. Who doesn't know? Fang Ling had always known that Zhang Yihan must have a sugar daddy backing him, but she never ever imagined that the backer would actually be Yang Yuting. No wonder the young master Zhang is coming after him. Zhang Yihan is really going to be the death of him. Hell, sleep with just about any woman. Backed by Yang Yuting, Zhang Yihan wasn't afraid of Fang Ling at all. She leaned on Yang Yuting, calling out Yuting. Actually, Sister Ling has always been pretty good to me. She didn't really have a choice. Please, don't blame her. Fang Ling also chimed in from the side. I wouldn't go so far as to say Shez bullying me, President Yang. This is an internal decision made by Huangtian Entertainment. An internal decision. Yang Yuting's lips curled into a smirk. He let out a cold laugh. Perfect. Get your general manager Huang over here, mister. Huang is the former CEO of Huangtian Entertainment. Apparently, Yang Yuting was still in the dark about this. He thought he heard her call for President Huang. Fang Ling should have shown at least a hint of panic. But to her surprise, Fang Ling replied without even batting an eye. Sorry. Director Yang. President Huang has been fired. Yang Yuting frowned. She had a nagging feeling that things were getting out of control. Has been fired, Fang Lin said with neither humility nor arrogance. That's right. And now, the CEO of Huangtian Entertainment is Mr. Jiang, CEO Jiang and Yang Yuting. I never imagined that the president Zhang Fonglin was talking about would actually be me. Jiang Chen is a painter with a quiet and melancholic aura, always so quiet and reserved. It's just hard to imagine that young Master Jiang and CEO Jiang could be the same person. Let's go together. Glint flashed in Fang Lin's eyes. He suddenly glanced at Yang Yuting and Zhang Yihan, who were locked in an intimate embrace. The two of them began to plot their revenge. He asked, "Would you like to see Mr. Jiang, Mr. Yang?" Yang Yuting was there to back up her boy toy, Zhang Yihan. Of course, she couldn't just leave empty-handed. Otherwise, wouldn't I just be losing face in front of my little lover? So what if there's a new CEO at Huangtian Entertainment? The Yang and Zhang families have been close for generations. All he has to do is reveal his identity as Yang Yuting. Hez not afraid that the new President Jiang won't show him some respect. Yang Yuting lifted her chin, with a look of arrogance on her face. Cao Fangling ordered imperiously, "Of course he wants to see you. Now get this. This Mr. Jiang over here to see me immediately." A strange smile flickered across Fang Ling's lips. "Certainly, Ms. Yang. Please hold. Ill-informed Mr. Zhang right away." Then, right in front of Yang Yuting, he used the intercom to connect to the president's office. From the moment Yang Yuting and Zhang Yihan, from the moment I stepped into the Huangtian Entertainment building, I was already aware of it. So, when I got the call from Fang Lin, I wasn't particularly surprised, but hearing what Fang Ling had to say, I laughed. I enunciated each word slowly. How ridiculous. And who the hell does she think she is, Yang Yuting? And she expects me to go see her. I leaned back slightly. He lounged back in his swivel chair, looking utterly relaxed. Or Yang Yuting can get her ass up to the 33rd floor and see me herself. Or I'll have security throw all the uninvited guests out of Huangtian Entertainment. Upon receiving the order, A slight smirk appeared on Fang Ling's lips. Yes, Mr. Jiang, she replied respectfully. Jiang Yihan is just a bully who's all bark and no bite. Hez only got the guts to act like that because Hez got Yang Yuting backing him up. At the end of the day, the Jiang group is the one who actually pays his salary and puts food on his table. What gives Yang Yuting the right to act all high and mighty in front of him? It was all because she had young Master Jiang's affection. When young Master Jiang was in love with Yang Yuting, Yang Yuting was supposed to be the future lady of the Jiang group. Everyone at Wangtian Entertainment had to show her some respect. But once young Master Jiang lost his affection for her, and what is Yang Yuting anyway? Now that he knows what kind of person young Master Jiang really is, and shall know what to do, he turned to Yang Yuting to relay my message. A faint, cold, and mocking smile played on his lips. President Jiang says Hez very busy and won't be free. President Yang, if you'd like to see him, please go to the CEO's office on the 33rd floor. After all, she is still a daughter of the Yang family. Even if she's no longer the young madam of the Jiang group, that's still far more respectable than her position as a mere agent. That's why Fang Ling was still trying to save some face for Yang Yuting when she spoke. I didn't relay my message word for word. Otherwise, if Yang Yuting found out my exact words were tell him to get his ass up here, I can't guarantee that Yang Yuting wouldn't just die of anger, even at her young age. And I was already being this considerate of Yang Yuting's feelings when Yang Yuting heard that President Jiang wasn't coming down. Instead, his making him come up to the CEO's office on the 33rd floor himself. She was so furious she just laughed. Yang Yuting asked, a furious smile playing on her lips.
Wait, you didn't tell him who I am?
Yang Yuting actually thought this Mr. Jiang was someone else. Fang Ling shot Yang Yuting a look that said, "Are you deaf? Remind him that you're Director Yang. I told Mr.
Jiang, who you were from the very beginning."
Did you not just hear me? Hearing this, Yang Yuting felt a sting of humiliation. Of course he heard, and the fact that he was being ignored despite his status. This only infuriated him even more. Yang Yuting was rarely treated with such blatant disregard. He immediately let out a cold laugh and said, "I'd really like to see who this so-called President Jiang thinks he is." When Yang Yuting arrived at the 33rd floor with Jiang Yihan, he pushed open the door to the CEO's office. The moment he saw me sitting inside, she was completely stunned. I looked at her and smiled. "How did you get in? Daunt. You know how to knock." Or perhaps this is simply how Miss Yang was raised. Hearing this, Yang Yuting snapped back to reality. He frowned and spoke. "Jiang Chen, don't you dare lay a finger on Yihan." Yang Yuting was completely oblivious. When she uttered the name Jiang Chen, Jiang Yihan froze on the spot. Even his eyes were frozen, staring straight ahead. She knew that Yang Yuting had a fiancé, her childhood sweetheart, but she never imagined it would be this handsome young CEO standing right in front of her. At that moment, she was utterly mortified. But I didn't even spare her a glance. Just smiled as I reminisced. Yang Yuting's words. "Miss Yang, which one of your dog eyes saw that? See? I'm bullying your little lover boy." Hearing this, Yang Yuting's face was filled with disbelief. How could Jiang Cheng, the man who's always been so into her, say something like that? She was a mix of shock, humiliation, and fury. But the words just wouldn't come out. She was so furious she was left speechless. I looked at her with a sneer. "You're asking me what?" Seeing this, Jiang Yihan, who was standing nearby, quickly spoke up.
"Young Master Jiang,
"How could you treat Yuting like this?" Before he could even finish his sentence, and I give you a look.
What did I say? What I do?
"Since when do you get to tell me what to do?" Jiang Yihan gulped nervously. He felt a strange sense of fear. Then he remembered that with Yang Yuting by his side, he figured he'd be fine. He wouldn't dare do anything to me. Besides, he had to put on a good show for Yang Yuting no matter what. So, Jiang Yihan braced himself and continued to speak. "President Jiang.
Yuting.
Shez the daughter of the Yang family, the president of the Yang group. Shez a woman. How could you humiliate her like that?" And insulted Yuting relentlessly.
What you're doing is wrong.
I turned to look at Jiang Yihan. He smirked. "Jiang Yihan,
That's you.
you're the only one who needs to flatter and fawn over this woman, but not me, Yang Yuting. So what if I did, and what could she possibly do to me? And that's the difference between you and me." Jiang Yihan didn't dare to talk back, because I can destroy him with just a snap of my fingers. Seeing her precious boy standing up for her, I shut him down. Naturally, Yang Yuting couldn't just sit back and take it. Glaring daggers at me, she said coldly, "Jiang Chen,
What are you so smug about?
you're just throwing your weight around because you have the Jiang family's power backing you. The reason I'm here today, tell me, why are you treating Yihan like this?" Seeing that someone was finally standing up for him,
Jiang Yihan quickly spoke up.
President Jiang, Sister Ling said, "You shut it down. All my current projects. I, Jiang Yihan, may not be worth much. Unlike you, born a rich young master, the grandson of the richest man, but we poor people have our dignity too. With some backbone, I see. If it's President Jiang, if you keep pushing me like this, when I have nothing left to lose, I'll have no choice but to make sure we both go down together." Hearing that, I shot him a glance. "Are you threatening me?" Jiang Yihan continued to speak. "Even though Jiang Chen is the richest man in Lancheng, but that doesn't mean he can get away with everything. Isn't that right?" As he said this, he looked me in the eye, as if to remind me. After all, Jiang Yihan is an idol with a huge fan base. if I don't give him a way out. He would definitely fight me to the bitter end. I let out a scornful chuckle.
You're wrong.
In Lancheng, the Jiang family can do whatever they want. Let me give you a little reminder, even though I can't stand Yang Yuting now. But there's one thing I need you to get straight. Before we go any further, Yang Yuting is my fiancé. At the end of the day, you're nothing but a pretty boy. What do you think would happen if your fans found out that their dream guy is just a pretty boy living off a woman? What do you think would happen then? Hearing this, Jiang Yihan, his pupils constricted abruptly. Seeing this, Yang Yuting couldn't help but retort, Jiang Chen, don't go too far. I never liked you. I never once acknowledged you as my fiancé.
What right do you have to call her the other woman?
She was protecting Jiang Yihan. If this were in the past, hearing myself say that, he would have definitely looked hurt, but Yang Yuting still believed that to be the case. I chuckled and said,
What a coincidence.
I don't want to admit it either. It's just that over the years, the Yang family has reaped quite a few benefits by clinging to the Jiang family. It doesn't matter if you don't want to admit it. In the eyes of the world. So you're the wife the Jiang family cast aside. And Yang Yuting heard me call her Jiang's wife. She couldn't hear a thing. Rage clouded his judgment. Seeing this, a smirk crept across my face. I continued, and I'm now the CEO of Huangtian Entertainment. Jiang Yihan is one of the company's artists. As for the status you have in the entertainment industry today, do you really think you got there on your own? And you know that better than anyone. I don't know how you have the nerve to come here and act all high and mighty. I'm a busy man. If you're done here, get the hell out. With that said, I pressed the button on my intercom. Have my secretary come in, have the superfluous and eyesore Yang Yuting and Jiang Yihan escorted out. But even if the two of them weren't ready to accept it, but what could they do about it? Jiang Yihan said, bewildered and hurt, Yuting. I signed a 10-year contract with Huangtian Entertainment. Young Master Jiang has my contract in his hands. Now her love has turned into hatred. What's gonna happen to my career now? Hearing this, Yang Yuting was stunned. Is it really love that turned to hate? It was then that it all clicked for her, and a strange sense of confidence began to well up inside her again. Without love, there can be no hate. So, Jiang Cheng does still love me after all. See, I knew it. How can someone change their minds so fast? The thought of it suddenly gave her a boost of confidence. He took Jiang Yihan's hand and said, Yihan, don't worry. I'll take care of this for you. Jiang family may be the wealthiest in Lancheng, but my family, the Yangs, are not to be trifled with either.
Worst case, we just pay the way you Jin.
I'll pay for you. The Yang Group also has its own film and television company. It's not quite on the level of Huangtian Entertainment. All you have to do is sign with us. I will never let you get hurt. Besides, Jiang Chen is at Huangtian Entertainment. Hez just abusing his status as the young master of the Jiang family. Running wild. His grandfather might not even be aware of this. If old Master Jiang knew about this, he would definitely not let Jiang Chen run wild anymore. With that, he made a call directly to old Master Jiang, Grandpa Jiang. Jiang Chen knows absolutely nothing about running a company. Hez running wild at Huangtian Entertainment. He suppresses artists on a whim, based on nothing but his mood and personal preference. And just like that, a once promising and hardworking artist was buried. Grandfather, do you think that's appropriate? Old Master Jiang let out a cold laugh on the spot. It's not your place to tell my grandson what to do. That hardworking and promising artist. You mean that pretty boy of yours? Jiang Yihan, right? After I gave old Master Jiang a heads up, he had his people investigate Yang Yuting and found out about Jiang Yihan. Yang Yuting was at a loss for words. She forced herself to speak. Grandpa Jiang, I have no ulterior motives. I'm only warning you because I'm worried Jiang Chen will run Huangtian Entertainment into the ground. After all, bringing down Huangtian Entertainment would mean destroying one of the Jiang family's most profitable businesses. I'm doing this for the good of your Jiang family too, you know? Old Master Jiang scoffed. We don't need it. Just a tiny little Huangtian Entertainment. So what if Jiang Chen uses it for practice? I, Jiang Hongtao, can afford the loss. With that, he hung up on Yang Yuting. He then immediately made another call and gave old Master Yang a brutal tongue lashing. Yang, you better keep your granddaughter in line, standing up for her pretty boy. And now you're coming at me, and you dare to point the finger at Jiang Cheng. It's not for me to tell you. My patience has its limits. The fault of the child is the fault of the father. And as for your granddaughter, Yang Yuting, you failed to discipline her. Then, of course, it's old Master Yang's fault. The moment old Master Yang picked up the phone and was immediately met with a furious tirade from old Master Jiang, his face instantly darkened. The other party came on strong, with full confidence, and they had every reason to be. Old Master Yang didn't even dare to say a word back. At this moment, on the phone, old Master Jiang chewed him out like he was a little kid. Old Master Yang was on the receiving end of old Master Jiang's wrath. He had just been hit with a completely unexpected disaster for no reason at all. He was getting chewed out like a total loser. So naturally, he's going to make the one who started it all, Yang Yuting, pay for it. Yang Yuting.
You good-for-nothing scoundrel.
You're always out there stirring up trouble. I think you've completely lost your mind. Who is Jiang Chen? Don't, you know. Jiang Hongtao has only got that one grandson. He practically worshipped the ground she walked on. And you, on the other hand, and you actually went and reported it to Jiang Hongtao himself. Should I call you young and reckless? Or should I say you've got no brain at all? This time, old Master Yang was truly furious. After giving his granddaughter a harsh scolding, he hung up the phone. He even announced to the world that he would cut off all of Yang Yuding's resources. First, it was to give old Master Jiang some closure. And second, Yang Yuding had truly and utterly disappointed him. Meanwhile, Yang Yuding had planned to leverage the Yang family's power, only to find that she couldn't command anyone in the Yang group. So all those promises she made to Zhang Yihan naturally came to nothing, and collect a little interest for the original Jiang Chen. So naturally there was no reason for me to stop there. Being the heir to the richest man in the world has its perks, and I didn't even have to get my own hands dirty. Ever since I made it clear that I can't stand Jiang Yihan, naturally his lackeys down the ladder would jump in to do the dirty work for him, and started to mock and ridicule Zhang Yihan relentlessly. Every day, Zhang Yihan would come back and pour his heart out to Yang Yuding. He wanted Yang Yuding to help him. But at this point, what could Yang Yuding possibly do? To make matters worse, the Riverview apartment where Zhang Yihan was living was a residence allocated to artists by Huangtian Entertainment, so I just had to hint to the company that it was time to take it back. Meanwhile, Zhang Yihan and his current backer, Song Jie, were left completely broke and destitute. Miss Yang. She was forced to move out of this riverside apartment, and the BMW he had given Zhang Yihan as a company car was also taken back. Slowly and methodically, he played his game, leading them to their ruin. Now, Yang Yuding has fallen so low that she has to rely on her younger boyfriend to support her. He was lost. Is this really the life he wanted? Meanwhile, Zhang Yihan and Yang Yuding's lives had become a living hell. Meanwhile, on my end, everything was coming up roses. Gu Qingshui. I showed up at Shuimo Lanting on the dot every day. IDB painting, while admiring the young lady's beauty, flirting with her every now and then until she's blushing from head to toe. But he always knew when to stop. And then there's the little songbird, Feifei, who's always ready to throw herself at me. As for Zhang Yihan and Yang Yuding, their lives had become a living hell. I couldn't help but smile. I decided to head to a bar for a drink. Time to celebrate. The Mei Bar is the most extravagant hotspot in Lancheng. A world of glitz and glamour. A world of glitz and glamour. Gu Qingshui, once the biggest star in the entertainment world, is now singing here. Feng Qiang, the eldest son of the Feng family in Lancheng. He has always been a devoted fan of Gu Qingshui. Back when Gu Qingshui was a huge star, Feng Qiang would send her flowers at her concerts and showered her with incredibly expensive gifts. All he ever wanted was for Gu Qingshui to even glance his way. Back then, Gu Qingshui was like the wind, a distant, unattainable star. But now, the star has dimmed and falling into this place where darkness and revelry coexist, as if it were within reach, and Feng Qingyang couldn't care less about Gu Qingshui either. All that dirt that was exposed online. He tracked her down to the Mei Bar, where Gu Qingshui was working as a live singer. Gu Qingshui was a resident singer at the Mei Bar. That's because the owner behind Mei Bar has some serious backing. Unafraid of the Yang family, Yang Yuding's influence doesn't reach this far. And so, Gu Qingshui stayed. I walked into the bar. I found a booth and sat down. I watched Gu Qingshui on stage, singing and playing her guitar. The way her beautiful eyes sparkled with life, attracting the attention of many eager men in the crowd. With drinks in hand, they decided to make a move and chat her up. But before they could even get close to the booth, suddenly, several men in black suits and sunglasses sprang out of nowhere and blocked their path. Once the men, eager for a piece of the action, had scattered several pairs of sunglasses, the men in black returned to their respective posts, as if they had never been there at all. I acted as if I was completely oblivious to it all. Not even the corner of his eye twitched, my hand lightly holding the wine glass. Taking an occasional sip, Gu Qingshui only performs once a week at the Mei Bar every Friday night. When her time is up, she leaves the stage. But as soon as she's off stage, she's shut down. Qi Yang's popularity is a thing of the past. Hey, about what I told you last time, about being my girlfriend. So, have you given it some thought? Feng Qiyang had confessed his feelings to Gu Qingshui more than once, but Gu Qingshui's response had always been a firm rejection. Feng Qiang, after all, he's the young master of the Feng family. After being rejected by Gu Qingshui time and again, his patience was wearing thin. There was a time when Gu Qingshui was a star in the sky, a top-tier superstar in the entertainment industry. Everyone in the world was chasing after her stardust. Back then, it was true that Gu Qingshui kept him at a cold and distant arm's length, and Zhang Yihan was riding high on his fame. He saw her as this cold, untouchable, and precious star. But now, Gu Qingshui had already fallen into darkness. All her former glory was gone, never to return. This young Master Feng still thinks He's in love with her, and is even willing to make Gu Qingshui his girlfriend. Should already be considered a blessing, but she didn't appreciate the gesture. This made Feng Qingyang absolutely furious. The last time, Feng Qiang had just thrown down the painting. He told Gu Qingshui to think long and hard about whether she wanted to be his girlfriend, with a threatening undertone. In the original storyline, it was precisely because of Gu Qingshui's rejection this time. In a fit of rage, Feng Qiang stormed into the hospital where Gus' mother was staying. He said a lot of harsh, even vicious things. It was only then that Gus' mother realized what her daughter had been going through. The shock caused Mrs. Gus' condition to flare up on the spot and was rushed into the emergency room. Later, after Gus' mother was successfully resuscitated, she didn't want to be a burden to Gu Qingshui any longer. That night, she secretly pulled out her own oxygen tube. When she woke up the next day, all Gu Qingshui found was her mother's cold, lifeless body, you could say, and Feng Qiang was the last straw that broke the camel's back. pushing Gu Qingshui to her death. Oh, the Overlord is such a poor little thing. Of course, I couldn't just let a beautiful young woman end up in that kind of situation again, and that's why I'm here tonight. At this, Gu Qingshui shook her head and apologized. Sir, right now I'm focused on my career. I'm not looking for a relationship right now. Feng Qiyang wasn't ready to give up. He continued to speak. I can give you money. Gu Qingshui refused, her tone cool. I can't accept what I haven't earned. Feng Qiyang frowned as he looked at him. Is it because I'm not good enough? You keep turning me down. Or is it that you already have a boyfriend? Gu Qingshui was about to say no. An image involuntarily popped into her mind. I only hesitated for a second, and it was that brief hesitation. And that was enough for Feng Qiyang to see that something was off, igniting a fire of rage in his heart in an instant. I thought you said you just wanted to make money.
Who is that person?
Gu Qingshui spoke with a cool detachment. I don't think this has anything to do with you, sir. Feng Qiyang lashed out at him with a threat. Gu Qingshui, you're going to regret this. Gu Qingshui paid no mind to Feng Qiyang's words. He turned to leave. Feng Qiyang and his buddy weren't about to let Gu Qingshui leave. Hey, you! Stop right there. Feng Qiyang's buddies were determined to make things difficult for Gu Qingshui. They're doing this to get back at Feng Qiyang. Gu Qingshui.
Do you still think you're that glamorous superstar you used to be?
Our brother Feng has taken a liking to you. Consider yourself lucky. Don't be a fool. Don't. Make me do this the hard way. Gu Qingshui didn't even turn her head. She turned and walked away. She had only taken 2 steps forward. Just then, she heard Feng Qiyang's voice from behind. Gu Qingshui. I believe you have a sick mother. Gu Qingshui whipped around. Her beautiful face, covered with a layer of frost, her eyes glinted with a piercing chill. What do you want? Feng Qiyang chuckled. I've been chasing after you for so long, but you never said yes. And now you've fallen for another man. You've made me a complete laughingstock. So tell me, how could you possibly get away without paying a price? Gu Qingshui said coldly. You can make things as difficult for me as you want, but leave my mother out of this. The young woman's glass-like light-colored eyes, revealing a desperate, all-or-nothing glint. If Feng Qiyang really crossed the line, has not afraid to go down with the ship. Feng Qiyang was slightly taken aback by the look in Gu Qingshui's eyes. Fine. I won't touch your mother. But if you don't want anything to happen to your mother, then you'll drink every last drop of alcohol in this place. Not a single drop left. There were dozens of bottles of hard liquor on the table, and all of them are high-proof liquor. In the original plot, Gu Qingshui was the one who drank this. But Feng Qiyang didn't keep his promise. He still went after Gu Qingshui's mother. But now, with Gu Qingshui's life on the line, she couldn't afford to take that gamble. A fair, slender hand reached for a bottle of wine and brought it to her lips. Before drinking, she said the word wine with a cool, detached air. Ill drink. I just hope you'll keep your word, sir. With that, the young woman tilted her head back and quickly downed the entire bottle of strong liquor. The crowd around them roared. Awesome. Keep going. That's just the first bottle, and there are still several more bottles to go. By the time Gu Qingshui finished the first bottle, her vision was already starting to get a little blurry. She reached for a second bottle, but just then, a hand grabbed her wrist. I leaned in, whispering softly in her ear, and started drinking. And you didn't even call us. Gu Qingshui's eyes were filled with a hazy look. Her words were a soft whisper. Jiang Chen. I nodded. I cleared my throat and said, With that, I gently kissed the wine from her lips. Gu Qingshui stared at me, completely stunned. Shez asking why I kissed her. I smiled and began to speak. Because I like you. With that, I lifted her chin. I asked her, do you like me? Gu Qingshui heard her own voice, shedding her usual cool demeanor, tinged with a hint of tipsiness. But her answer was firm. I like that first meeting. And right after saying that, then she stepped forward and kissed me again. Seeing this, Yang Yuding was furious. I felt like I was going crazy. She stared at the man who had suddenly appeared out of nowhere. He was all over Gu Qingshui, kissing and hugging her. And yet the young woman, who had always been so cold and distant towards her, but she didn't resist at all. She even took the initiative to kiss the man. And he even said she was his favorite. Feng Qiyang's face contorted in rage and screamed hysterically. Who do you think you are? You dare challenge me. Feng Qiyang, stealing my woman. You've got a death wish. I made Gu Qingshui stand still. Nice and obedient. Then she shot a sidelong glance at Feng Qiyang. And who are you? And you dare to raise your voice at me? I think the one who doesn't know what's good for them is you. Feng Qiyang has always been a playboy who doesn't treat him like a king. This was the first time anyone had ever dared to speak to him like that. He stepped forward, ready to throw a punch. But just then, a group of men in black wearing sunglasses appeared out of nowhere. One of them grabbed Feng Qiyang's wrist. The grip was incredibly strong. I just said it, as casually as if I were discussing the weather. Break one of his hands. For me, as I said that, my expression and tone were perfectly level. If crippling Feng Qiyang, chopping off a hand is no different from chopping a head of cabbage. Feng Qiyang's pupils constricted in silent shock. How dare you? Do you have any idea who I am? I just smiled. Let me tell you exactly who you are. I dare you to try. Upon receiving the order, the bodyguards in black immediately sprang into action. All that could be heard was a piercing scream from Feng Qiyang's mouth. Everyone around was stunned. Have you lost your mind? Hez, the young master of the Feng family, the top dog in Lancheng? How dare you hurt Feng Qiang? The Feng family will never let you get away with this. Feng Qiang had never been through anything like this before. His face turned deathly pale from the pain. A twisted threat. You're really asking for it. The Feng family will not let you get away with this? I raised an eyebrow. He gave a humorless smile. All right then. I'll be waiting. Just then, someone in the crowd recognized who I was. I wanted to tell Feng Qiang to stop digging his own grave. Qiang, just stop talking. Hez the young master of the Jiang family. Hearing this, Feng Qiang, her hysterical screams instantly died in her throat. His face was frozen solid. How could they possibly dare after finding out who I am? Feng Qingyang had one of his arms crippled and wouldn't dare to run their mouths anymore, let alone even think about settling the score with me. I successfully got the drunk Gu Qingshui out of the Neye bar and brought her back to the Shui Mo Lanting. The next morning when she woke up, Gu Qingshui found herself in an unfamiliar yet magnificent room. Just then, I walked in from outside. Gu Qinghue was the first to speak.
Young Master Jiang.
Did you bring me home from the bar last night? I nodded and smiled. I answered, yeah. Don't tell me you don't remember anything? Yu Qingshue's eyelashes fluttered. She stammered, I was drunk. I looked at her and began to speak. Well, let me refresh your memory then. You said last night that you don't like other people. The person I like the most is the one who's always holding me back. You wouldn't let me leave. And we slept together last night. Look what you've done. With that, I lifted my hand and slightly pulled open the V-neck of my shirt, revealing a vivid red bite mark on my skin. Yu Qinghue blushed, embarrassed. Don't look away.
I'm sorry.
With a smile, I cupped her face in my hands, teasingly said, You're so cute when you blush. Don't go to Mei Bar anymore. Okay. Gu Qingshui gave a wry smile. If she had a choice, the Mie Bar, she didn't want to go there either. It's just that my mother's illness is very expensive. Gu Qingshui parted her lips, but I cut her off. Before she could finish, are you worried about your mother's illness? That's simple. All you have to do is get back to being a star. You can make money, and you won't have to worry about what your aunt thinks when she finds out about your situation. Worry flickered in Gu Qingshu's eyes. She shook her head and began to speak. I'm an artist who's been blacklisted by Huangtian Entertainment. It was impossible for me to switch to another company. The penalty for breaking the contract was an astronomical sum. Actually, considering Gu Qingshu's status as a top-tier idol back then, even if it meant breaking the contract and switch to another entertainment company, I'm sure plenty of companies would have been willing to pay that penalty fee for her. But the problem is, we're talking about Gu Qingshui. The person she offended was none other than the young lady of the Yang family, Yang Yuting. The cash cow has suddenly become a hot potato. Naturally, no one was willing to take her on. The corner of my mouth lifted into a smile. Who said anything about you jumping ship to another agency? Especially not at Huangtian Entertainment. The company has decided to make you a star all over again. Hearing this, Gu Qingshui lowered her head and began to speak. No way. The one who blacklisted me is Yang Yuting from the Yang Group. Gu Qingshui had a vague idea of what was going on, although she had no idea when or how she had offended Yang Yuting. She was just as baffled as anyone. I heard that Yang Yuting is the wife of the richest man's son. Huangtian Entertainment is a subsidiary of the Jiang Group. Since Yang Yuting has spoken, how could Huangtian Entertainment? He didn't even get to finish his sentence. I'll cut him off before he can even speak. Yang Yuting. She's no longer the young madam of the wealthiest family. Yang Yuting is already a castaway of her own family. Hez no longer the president of the Yang Group. He can barely save himself right now. There is nothing she can do to you anymore. Gu Qingshui didn't ask me either.
How did you know all that?
She knew I wasn't just some ordinary guy. Her eyes were fixed on me. So, do you really want me to go back to being a star? I nodded. Of course. You look the most radiant when you're on stage. With that, I kissed her again. Gu Qingshui's cheeks flushed slightly at the kiss. Well, if this is what you want, what you like, then what's stopping me from stepping back into the spotlight? One person decides to step out of the darkness, returning to the dazzling spotlight, while others fell from the clouds, struggling and crawling through the mud. Once again, Yang Yuting learned from her adoptive mother that not only did old Master Yang cut off all of his resources, and even plans to disown him. This had her adoptive mother absolutely freaking out.
Yuting.
If you keep defying your grandfather like this, if you don't come back, if you don't, there'll be no place for us, for me and you, in the Yang family in the future.
Yuting, come back and beg Grandpa properly.
I'm begging you, please. Her adoptive mother's words were filled with earnest sincerity. But Yang Yuting had had enough. This current life of poverty and humiliation. It wasn't that she didn't want to go back to the Yang family. She just couldn't bring herself to bow down to Jiang Chen, because Yang Yuting knew Grandpa Yang would definitely make her personally go to the Jiang family to beg for forgiveness. And that was the one thing Yang Yuting dreaded the most. When you've seen someone's true heart for too long, they'll only think the other person isn't even worthy of their affection. At this thought, she glanced over at Zhang Yi.
Han.
Yi-han, my mom wants me to go back to the Yang family and take what's rightfully mine. But how could I ever leave you? But Zhang Yihen had his own little schemes up his sleeve. In the past, of course, he didn't want Yang Yuting to leave either. They were practically inseparable. Chanman Dayatru. But now, Yang Yuting was no longer the pampered heiress she once was. His unlimited black card was frozen. Shez even been barred from entering her own properties. Her words no longer carried any weight. He couldn't even stand up for her or vent her anger for her. The once proud heiress was now a complete has-been. Yang Yuting wasn't what he wanted. At this thought,
Zhang Yihan quickly spoke up.
Yuting, you should go back.
it's okay. It'll be fine.
I love you.
Of course, I want what's best for you. As long as you have me in your heart, thinking of me and missing me. Even if it's Yuting, even if you're not by my side. Zhang Yihan was so understanding. Although old Master Yang was utterly disappointed in Yang Yu. After all, she was the one Jiang Chen had his eye on. Seeing Yang Yuting come back obediently, although he didn't say it out loud, but deep down he was actually pleased, as long as Yuting could persuade Jiang Chen to change his mind. Then his plan, which he has been scheming for years, wouldn't be considered a complete failure. Maybe there's still a chance to turn things around. With a mind full of calculated schemes. With a grim expression, old Master Yang began to speak. Jiang Chen is the son-in-law Grandpa has always wanted. As long as you can get Jiang Chen to forgive you and win him back, and agree to marry you again. Only then will you be allowed back into the Yang family. Conditions set by old Master Yang, Yang Yuting wasn't surprised in the slightest. Even the true intentions hidden beneath old Master Yang's high and mighty words, he knew every single detail. It's all just about coveting the Jiang family's immense wealth and fortune. A corner of Yang Yuting's mouth curled into a smirk, both mocking and self-assured. Just as old Master Yang glanced over, Yang Yuting lowered her head slightly to hide her expression. He said with great confidence, "Grandpa, I know. Jiang Chen still has feelings for me. I want to win Jiang Chen back. It won't be hard." Hearing this, the old Master Yang's gaze on Yang Yuting immediately softened. He was about to promise Yang Yuting something. Just then, a voice tinged with amusement rang out. It came from another woman who was sitting in the Yang family's living room. She bore a slight resemblance to Yang Yuting. They just have different auras. So, what's the word from young Master Jiang? And Shez, also the granddaughter of the wealthiest man. On the day of the wedding, the groom walked out, leaving her utterly humiliated. I'm afraid it's not going to be that easy to smooth things over, even if he could make it up to her. Young Master Jiang himself. And getting past the old man won't be easy either, will it? The old master. What do you say? The old Master Yang thought it over and instantly saw the logic in it. The words were on the tip of his tongue, but he swallowed them back. The gentle look in his eyes as he gazed at Yang Yuting vanished, replaced by a cold stare. And his expression turned cold once more. He said, his tone indifferent, "First, you need to win Jiang Chen back."
Well, see about that guy later.
He didn't even give me the simplest promise. For instance, if she can just get Jiang Chen to change his mind, just have him unfreeze her card. Yang Yuting could see the look on old Master Yang's face was crystal clear. He was starting to waver, but then after just a few words from Yang Siqi, and his expression turned cold once again. His gaze towards Yang Siqi was filled with hostility. "Just you wait. Once I've won him over, Jiang Chen has once again earned his grandfather's favor, and when that time comes, it'll destroy you." Yang's adoptive mother brought her, and Yang Yuting to the Jiang family mansion, compared to how reluctantly she had to bow to me before returning to the Yang family. Now, with Yang Siqi as a threat. Meanwhile, Yang Yuting, on the other hand, was practically itching to see Jiang Chen and win Jiang Chen back. But she was stopped by the maid just as she reached the door.
"I'm sorry.
Our young master is still sleeping. Please wait here for a moment." His adoptive mother frowned. "It's so late already. Is he still sleeping? Go and get Jiang Chen to come down." Her tone was a bit too much like a mother-in-law's. Xiaolan froze for a second. The look she gave her adoptive mother. It was written all over her face. "Are you out of your mind? The young master can sleep for as long as he wants. Not even the old master can control him anymore." "Mrs. Yang, aunt, you think you're overstepping a bit?" Hearing this, the adoptive mother remembered why she had come to the Jiang family today. Only then did she manage to hold back her temper and keep herself from lashing out. After Zhao Lan stepped back, fearing her young master might be at a disadvantage, and secretly gave old Master Jiang a call. She told him that the mother and daughter from the Yang family had arrived at the Jiang residence. After old Master Jiang rushed back, "Oh, I just woke up." I went downstairs and took a quick look around. The mother and daughter spoke, their voices cool and distant.
"Wow. The house is so full of guests."
Quite the lively scene. Yang Yuting's eyes were practically glued to me the moment I walked in. "This is Jiang Chen. Jiang Chen looks even more handsome today." There was a hidden intensity in his gaze, a burning passion that he himself hadn't even noticed. The adoptive mother glanced at her daughter's expression. He was thrilled, thinking he had a chance. Shez just too proud to admit she was wrong about Jiang Chen. She just can't swallow her pride. Can she? After all, Yang Yuting was never very nice to me in the past. It was that Jiang family boy who was so infatuated and insisted on being with her daughter. Now, seeing Yang Yuting staring at him with such a dazed look in her eyes. Of course, Yang's adoptive mother thought she would finally learn her lesson and behave this time, and apologized to Jiang Chen, and started trying to get closer to him. "Jiang Chen, guest." "What guest?
We're all family here?"
"You're my son-in-law, after all." I paid my adoptive mother no mind. Muttering to himself, he walked over and collapsed onto the sofa. After greeting old Master Jiang, afterwards, Zhuantou looked over at the maid, Zhao Lan.
"Get me a coffee."
His adoptive mother's expression turned awkward. She looked utterly embarrassed. I can't believe Jiang Chen would be so shameless. After all, I'm supposed to be his future mother-in-law. Hez just relying on the fact that he's the richest man's grandson. Hez, so utterly clueless. For now, it's best to just hold back. Grandpa Jiang, seated on the sofa, glanced over at Yang Yuting, the mother and daughter. He began to speak in a somber tone. So, what brings the two of you here today? Anyone could see the attitude on old Master Jiang's face. His displeasure was plain for all to see. Yang Yuting, without the slightest intention of hiding it, cowering under the old master's intimidating aura. The adoptive mother trembled uncontrollably. But as the elder of the family, he couldn't just hide and do nothing. He had no choice but to bite the bullet and state his purpose. Well, Mr. Jiang, here is the thing. Regarding what happened at the wedding the other day, our Yuting knows she was wrong. Jinger came all this way. We just want to apologize to Jiang Chen. Please forgive her, Jiang Chen. Old Master Jiang scoffed. An apology? And you hurt my grandson. And you think a simple apology is going to make this all go away? In your dreams, I spoke, my voice calm and steady. So, Miss Yang, how exactly do you plan to apologize to me today? Yang Yuting clenched her fists. She lowered her head, gritted her teeth, and said through a clenched jaw, I'm sorry. Jiang Chen shouldn't have, but before she could finish, then, you just heard me scoff.
Is if ID just heard the most ridiculous joke.
So, this is Miss Yang's idea of an apology. A nonchalant look spread across my face, and a touch of blatant mockery. Hearing this, the adoptive mother sensed that something was off. She quickly and anxiously tried to smooth things over, saying, Jiang Chen, please don't be angry. Yuting is genuinely here to apologize to you.
Shez here to apologize.
It's just that my daughter, Shez, never been one for words, and isn't one for sweet talk. How about this then? Jiang Chen, what do you want to do? Just say it. Even if you want the stars in the sky, Yuting had plucked them down for you too. His adoptive mother was making a bold promise. I just smiled. Auntie? You're a lady from a distinguished family. You've probably heard the story, right? What's this about begging for forgiveness? My adoptive mother's face froze. Seeing the awkward look on my adoptive mother's face, he continued. But Auntie, didn't you just say? Is Yang Yuting really here to sincerely apologize and beg for my forgiveness? But it doesn't seem that way now, does it? Don't tell me you were just saying that, were you? His adoptive mother's face stiffened. She laughed awkwardly. Of course not. Jiang Chen, you must have misunderstood your aunt. I'm just here to make a humble apology. It's not like there are any gold bars or anything here. I tilted my head back, and my words, I'm sure, made Yang Yuting want to strangle me. All right then. How about this? We can skip the trip to the capital. Have him get on his knees and apologize to me? A mother's heart aches for her daughter, I retorted instinctively.
How could that be? Okay.
I shot him a glance and spoke. Am I the esteemed young master of the Jiang family, not worthy of it? The grandson that old Master Jiang has always doted on. As my grandson, Jiang Hongtao's grandson, he can handle anything. Even that's not good enough. Not that either. You and your daughter, you're not even sincere about apologizing to me. Xiao Lan, show them out. Yang Yuting knew. If I just go back like this today, I'm afraid I'll never be able to set foot in the Jiang family's door again. Gritting her teeth, she let out a thud and dropped to her knees before me. Jiang Chen, it was my fault. Please forgive me. Yang Yuting finished speaking, swallowing her pride. He lifted his head, a flash of crimson in his eyes. He stared at me and began to speak. I met Yang Yuting's furious gaze and smiled faintly. Miss Yang has even gotten down on her knees herself. Well, that's certainly a show of sincerity. Upon hearing my words, old Master Jiang, he frowned. But in the end, he didn't say anything more. The adoptive mother had no time to feel sorry for her daughter and immediately seized the opportunity to press her advantage. Of course, Jiang Chen, Yuting is truly and sincerely apologizing to you. So, about your wedding. I just waved my hand dismissively. Of course, I'm calling it off. His adoptive mother looked utterly shocked. Forget it. What do you mean? Forget it. Old Master Jiang's furrowed brow relaxed a little. To be honest, he was actually a little worried his grandson might have a change of heart. After all, he knew how Jiang Chen had felt about Yang Yuting in the past, and he saw it all. Thankfully, Jiang Chen didn't let his head get turned. He didn't disappoint him. And old Master Jiang wasn't disappointed either, but his adoptive mother and Yang Yuting, they were utterly devastated. His adoptive mother said hurriedly, It's not Jiang Chen.
How could you do this?
Look, Yuting is even getting on her knees to apologize to you herself. How could I cut her off? Speaking up. Mrs. Yang. The other day, Yang Yuting, the bride, walked out on the wedding. I'll admit, it didn't quite turn me, Jiang Chen, into the laughingstock of the entire city of Lan. But still, it was a blow to the reputation of my Jiang family. Don't you think this is a kneeling that's long overdue? Hearing this, his adoptive mother's face stiffened as she forced a strained smile. Of course it is. But Jiang Chen, but after all, you and Yuting had so many years of history together before she could finish her sentence. And I cut you off again. No matter how deep the feelings Mrs. Yang claims they have, all vanished into thin air on the wedding day. The adoptive mother was completely speechless. Yang Yuting was still on her knees on the floor. Her dark eyes concealed a look of humiliation. He spoke in a cold, deep voice. Jiang Chen, you're the one who called off the wedding first. Trying to pin this on me, not a chance. I set down my coffee cup because, right before the wedding, I found out my fiancé was keeping a toy boy on the side. So, it's understandable that I called off the wedding in a fit of rage, right? Isn't that right? Hearing this, Yang Yuting forced herself to speak up. How can you be so heartless and sentence me to death? Are you just going to throw away all these years we've had together? Jiang Chen, I promise you, that will never happen. Next time, these words. Just listening to this makes me sick. There isn't any, cause after he took over, he had the original owner's ex-husband sent to a mental hospital and just passed the whole mess onto Zhang Yihan. So naturally, there was no such thing as cheating or not cheating. Thinking about it, I just let out a faint oh. Then he continued to speak. Jiang Chen, trust me, as long as you're willing to marry me again, it's a bit ironic, don't you think? A slow smile crept across Kinger's face.
But what can I do?
Yuding. You really think I'd believe a word you say now? Yang Yuding asked. Jiang Chen.
What will it take for you to trust me again?
All right, here's the deal. Now, it's your turn to chase me, whatever I'm craving. No matter if it's 1,000 miles or 10,000, go buy it. Now, whenever I need you, and be there at a moment's notice. When I say jump, you don't ask how high. If I say go east, and you can't go west, north, or south. That's the kind of pursuit I'm talking about. As Yang Yuding listened, she had a nagging feeling that something wasn't quite right. This is what you call pursuit. Are you sure it's not? When you take the young master's little follower, I lifted my chin. He questioned me in the tone of a spoiled rich kid.
What? You don't want to—
Yang Yuding was caught between a rock and a hard place. To be fair, the request wasn't all that unreasonable. Their wedding had turned into a complete farce. The talk of the town in Lancheng. And to arrange another marriage alliance, someone has to be the one to back down. Whether you're looking at gender or social status, and the one who has to back down is, without a doubt, him. Even if Grandpa were here today, would he still definitely make him agree to Jiang Chen's terms? And it's not hard to see why. He just wants to make a grand, passionate gesture of pursuing me. Let everyone in Lancheng see me. Yang Yuding's love for Jiang Chen. However, a flicker of unease still passed through Yang Yuding's heart. I can't help but feel that if I just agree, it'll be the one at a disadvantage. I smiled, recalling a single glance from Yang Yuding. A wicked thought crossed my mind. Did you really think I'd give you another chance to chase after me? It's just that it'll be tormenting you out in the open for all to see, and trample all over you, and trample all over you. In the end, Yang Yuding had no choice but to accept. She nodded and agreed to Yang Yuding's proposal and asked for the Jiang family's forgiveness. That was half the battle, so to speak. Old Master Yang was naturally overjoyed. He immediately unfroze Yang Yuding's credit cards. He also returned the sports cars and properties under his name for Yang Yuding to use as she pleased. Jiang Cheng is now willing to give you another chance to win her back. It means you still have a place in his heart. But at the end of the day, he is the richest man. And just like that, the young master turned the page as if it were nothing. Even if Jiang Cheng himself doesn't mind, and I doubt old man Jiang would be willing to let it slide either. So this time, you have to give it your all and make a good impression.
You got that.
Yang Yuding nodded. I understand, Grandpa. After that, Yang Yuding started seriously trying to win me over. After work, Yang Yuding was waiting for me downstairs at the Huangtian Entertainment Building. I had just walked out of the Huangtian Entertainment Building. Yang Yuding stepped forward.
Jiang Chen, I'm here to pick you up from work.
I glanced at the roses in Yang Yuding's arms. He asked, clearly disgusted.
What's this?
Seeing the look on his face was all wrong. Without a trace of joy on his face, Yang Yuding frowned and replied, "Ah, roses," he said bluntly. It's not like I'm blind. Of course I know they're roses. I'm asking you, why are you giving this to me? Are you trying to kill me? Yang Yuding had thought that since she'd gone out of her way to the florist to buy a bouquet of roses. But he wasn't having any of it. A flicker of annoyance sparked in her heart, but she forced herself to stop in her tracks. Hearing my last words, that's when she was taken completely aback. He quickly furrowed his brow and explained, "Jiang Chen, what nonsense are you talking about? How could I ever want to hurt you?" I shot him a glance and said, "I'm allergic to roses."
You didn't know.
"And you deliberately gave me roses."
You were trying to kill me, weren't you?
What is it?
Of course, the rose allergy was fake. Total nonsense. Who wants to touch your roses? I find them filthy. So Yang Yuding really didn't know. Jiang Chen, you've got it all wrong. I didn't know you were allergic to roses. You don't even know I'm allergic to flowers. Yang Yuding, you have the nerve to say you love me. My eyes were filled with nothing but contempt and disdain for Yang Yuding. Yang Yuding was about to explode with rage, but then she remembered she couldn't afford to cross me now. She forced down the fury rising in her chest. She slowly forced a strained smile onto her face. Jiang Chen, I admit I didn't really know you before. I didn't know you were allergic to roses. From now on, I promise I'll love you with all my heart. I'll try to put you first from now on. Please, don't be angry anymore.
You don't like roses?
So I threw it away, and that's when I suddenly spoke up.
Wait.
I'm allergic to roses, but it would be a shame to just throw them away.
How about this?
Why don't you give these flowers to Jiang Yihan? Let's make use of this piece of trash. The words waste utilization. And just like that, the smile was wiped right off Yang Yuding's face. Jiang Yihan was the man she loved. He wanted her to give the very rose head rejected to Jiang Yihan, and he even called it recycling trash. This is nothing short of blatant humiliation. Yang Yuding, barely containing her fury, said, "Jiang Chen, that's all in the past. I don't have any feelings for her now. You're the esteemed young master of the Jiang family. There is really no need to get into it with Jiang Yihan. Besides, Jiang Yihan isn't even here right now." I sneered and glanced in a certain direction. My movements were casual, almost indifferent. Well, speak of the devil.
Isn't that Jiang Yihan?
Yang Yuting's heart skipped a beat.
She looked in the direction I was pointing. Not far from the entrance of the Huangtian Entertainment Building, a man was standing. He must have clearly heard what he had just said. She was staring at him, her face a mask of sorrow, disbelief, and heartbreak. Yang Yuting couldn't help but cry out, Yihan. She wanted to explain to him, it's not what he thinks. He's just lying to me, trying to sweet-talk his way out of this. Even after Yang Yuting had fallen from grace. Living under the same roof as Jiang Yihan, and there were also some unpleasant little friction between them. Of course, Jiang Yihan never openly picked a fight with her, or said anything harsh. Yang Yuting had lost her patience with him too. Jiang Yihan complained all day long, and asked herself deep down,
Was it all really worth it?
after leaving Jiang Yihan, swallowing her pride and enduring all the humiliation. Perhaps it's because the grass is always greener on the other side. Yang Yuting realized that the person she truly loved was still Jiang Yihan. Seeing Jiang Yihan heartbroken by her own words, he was dying to pull her into his arms right then and there, to tell him that's not what she meant, but he couldn't. Yang Yuting shot a deep glance at Jiang Yihan, hoping he would understand what she was going through. Heartbroken, Jiang Yihan turned and walked away. I declared loudly, Jiang Yihan. Jiang Yihan turned back. Jiang, what are your orders? Here, I'm allergic to the smell of these roses. It'd be a waste to throw it away, but it's a shame. You can have it. As I looked at the rose in Yang Yuting's hand, there was a flash of undisguised disgust in my eyes. It was as if the thing in Yang Yuting's hand was nothing but a piece of trash. Even one more glance would be an eyesore. Jiang Yihan instantly felt humiliated by me. He gritted his teeth and refused. Mr. Jiang, I'm not a fan of roses. But before he could finish his sentence, then you just heard me let out a chuckle, but the smile never reached my eyes. Jiang Yihan, I'm not asking for your opinion. He really did give you roses. It's just that someone gave me these roses, and I'm allergic to roses. You just happened to be passing by, so I'm asking you to help me get rid of them. So, you can either take this bouquet of roses home, or just turn around and toss them. Is that clear? The implication was clear. Who the hell cares whether you like it or not? Just someone inconveniently taking out the trash for, that's all. With just a few words, Jiang Yihan's expression changed completely, suppressing the fury in her heart. He took the rose and walked away.
Yang Yuting gritted her teeth in silence.
Her fingers clenched into a fist. He tolerates my casual remarks. Let's see just how long you can hold out. I'm in no rush either. Besides, for the past decade or so, the business interests of the Zhang and Yang families are deeply intertwined and complex, even if old Master Zhang intended to take the Yang family down. But that would take time. I'm giving Yang Yuting a chance to go after what she truly wants. It was all just a ruse to meet old Master Yang. The Zhang family had already been slowly closing in. All that's left is to wait for the perfect moment to crush the Yang family. Of course, behind the scenes, the credit for all this goes to one person.
Yang Siqi.
Yang Siqi is the illegitimate daughter of the Yang family. Her real motive for hating the Yang family was to bring down the entire Yang corporation and bring the Yang family to ruin. Yang Siqi secretly reached out to me when we were working together to show her sincerity. She opened up to me about a deep old wound. So, it turns out that after Yang Siqi's mother was violated by her adoptive father and became pregnant with Yang Siqi. Back then, the old Master Yang sent Yang Siqi's mother away with a sum of money. Meanwhile, the real culprit, the Yang family, continued to live their lives as if nothing had happened. Didn't even remember his mother's name. From a young age, Yang Siqi had to bear the stigma of being an illegitimate child. Her mother had died from depression at a very young age. She was raised by her maternal grandparents. Through her own hard work, she made a name for herself in the financial world and caught the attention of old Master Yang. He announced his intention to bring her back into the family. But this wasn't the kind of reunion that involved any discussion with Yang Siqi. He just paid a lump sum to buy out Yang Siqi, and his bond with the two elderly people who had worked so hard to raise him and even forced him to change his name to Yang Siqi. This truly and utterly infuriated Yang Siqi. This is when Yang Siqi started plotting to bring down the Yang family's empire. If she were to rely on Yang Siqi alone, but on his own, he'd probably have to spend several years to make this wish come true. So, she took the initiative and came to me. He wants to form an alliance with the Zhang family and take down the Yang family from both the inside and out. Having an insider to help would of course be the best case scenario. There is no reason for me to refuse. After our conversation, Yang Siqi left the CEO's office at Huangtian Entertainment. Just as she was leaving, she ran into Yang Yuting, who was on her way in. Yang Yuting saw Yang Siqi coming out of my CEO office. She glared at Yang Siqi with a hostile gaze.
So it was you.
Yang Siqi.
What are you doing here?
Yang Siqi smiled. I'm here on behalf of the Yang family to discuss a potential business deal with President Jiang. I don't think I need to explain myself to you, do I? Yang Siqi's words and demeanor were not lost on Yang Yuting. It was just blatant showing off. She had to bite her tongue to stop herself from slapping her across the face. Across Yang Siqi's face. But only when she's facing me. Yang Yuting, on the other hand, wasn't nearly as patient and questioned Zhang Chen in a harsh tone. What's Yang Siqi doing here? Do you have some kind of special relationship with her? The only thing she didn't do was ask me straight up if I was having an affair with Yang Siqi, and I'm not even angry. He scoffed. Yang Yuting. And what gives you the right to question me? Let me throw a title out there. My fiancé or my wife? I guess it's neither, is it? Yang Yuting. Right now, You're nothing more than one of my obsessed admirers. I'll allow you to stick around and bother me. And that's already me being more than generous. You have no right to meddle in my affairs. Got it. I had completely humiliated Yang Yuting. The old Yang Yuting, the one I used to spoil, she would have stormed out and slammed the door long ago. But now, she's probably just gotten used to me putting her in her place. Yang Yuting just gritted her teeth and forced the words out through clenched jaws. She answered, her words slow and deliberate.
I get it.
When it came to Yang Yuting, I was as merciless as the autumn wind sweeping away fallen leaves. Every now and then, I'd drag her out just to put her in her place. But when it came to the host, Sweetie, he was a whole different story. I was gentler and warmer than a spring breeze. I've assigned Gu Qingshui a new agent. He specifically named her, demanding that they make her a star all over again. The people below know which way the wind is blowing, so naturally, he devised a whole plan to rehabilitate Gu Qingshui's image and make her a star again. Gu Qingshui was, after all, the perfect ingenue for the role. She was once a top-tier idol, the biggest star in the entertainment industry. I mean, her looks and talent speak for themselves. After she cleared her name of all the slander and false rumors, it was easy for her to make a brand new comeback and re-entered the public eye and quickly won back the hearts of her fans. But for Gu Qingshui, her heart remained perfectly calm. Having been through the lowest of lows, someone who has spent a long time in the darkness, even if one day she were to be graced by the limelight once more, they won't get overly excited anymore. From a discarded pawn shelved by Huangtian Entertainment, to reclaim her throne as the top star of Huangtian Entertainment, Gu Qingshui standing at the company skyrocketed. Fellow artists at the company would greet her with the utmost respect whenever they saw her. Sister Gu, and that included Jiang Yihan. Jiang Yihan no longer had anyone backing him up. He could barely land a minor role or some insignificant gigs. Meanwhile, Gu Qingshui was back in the brilliant spotlight. It was like he was back to being just a small-time actor trying to break into the entertainment industry. Back when she was a top-tier superstar, Jiang Yihan once again started seeing Gu Qingshui through his idol-worshipping lens. He even started to pay less attention to his feelings for Yang Yuting, since they were in the same company. Jiang Yihan started looking for ways to get closer to Gu Qingshui when Gu Qingshui's manager found out and told Gu Qingshui to stay away from him. This Jiang Yihan guy secretly hooked up with the former president of the Yang Group, who just so happens to be the young master's fiancé, has really gotten on the young master's bad side. The young master has put out a blacklist order on Jiang Yihan. No artist who gets close to Jiang Yihan ever ends up well. My guess is Jiang Yihan is trying to use you to stir up some gossip and leech off your fame. Qingshui, you need to be careful. We can't let Jiang Yihan get his way. You're the artist the higher-ups have specifically named to make a star.
Even though I don't know why,
but it wasn't easy for you to get where you are today. We can't let one Jiang Yihan ruin everything, you know? Cannot see the CEO. Even Gu Qingshui herself still has no idea. The new CEO of Huangtian Entertainment
is me.
I gave the order to make Gu Qingshui a star. People at the company just thought the young master was either being capricious or had a keen eye for talent. He couldn't bear to see a shining star be buried in dust. No one ever imagined that there was anything more between them. This was because the two of them had never even met at the company, leading people to speculate about their supposedly close relationship, let alone anything else. Gu Qingshui took her manager's words to heart. Her crystal-clear eyes flickered slightly. It was said that the powerful figure who had her blacklisted back then, and that person was none other than Yang Yuting, the former president of the Yang Group. And as for Jiang Yihan, who had repeatedly tried to get close to him under various pretexts, and he also seemed to mention that she was a fan of his. Could there be some kind of connection here? But the sharp and intelligent young woman sensed that there must be more to the story. If it was really as she suspected, then that would be just ridiculous. The beautiful young woman pressed her thin, rose-like lips together tightly, her crimson lips. Got it. From now on, I'll keep my distance from Jiang Yihan. The agent nodded in satisfaction. Just as she was about to say something, just then, Gu Qingshui added, I have a boyfriend. I can't let her get the wrong idea. Mentioning her boyfriend. Young woman's eyes were gentle and bright. The corners of her lips curl up slightly. The agent was utterly shocked.
What?
Her eyes widened in shock. Her eyes were glued to the goddess-like beauty. Her voice was trembling with excitement. You have a boyfriend. The agent quickly covered her mouth, lowering her voice. Her voice was still brimming with excitement.
When did this happen?
Who's your boyfriend? How come I've never heard you mention this before? Daunt, you know that idols aren't allowed to date. Gu Qingshui ignored the last thing her manager said and answered two questions. Not long ago, Hez, a very handsome guy. The agent frustratingly ran a hand through her hair. I can tell you're already head over heels. Gu Qingshui didn't deny it. The agent kept going on. Qingshui, do you have any idea what it means for you to be in a relationship with a boyfriend? Do you have any idea what would happen if your fans found out? Gu Qingshui nodded. I know. It just means I'd lose everything I have now and go back to how things were before. Her agent immediately looked at her with a mix of frustration and disappointment. And you, Gu Qingshui, you know what's at stake. Her eyes were bright and resolute. I had nothing to begin with. I was lost, walking alone in the dark abyss. He reached his hand out to me and became the light of my life. He is a one-of-a-kind, irreplaceable presence, even if it means falling back to rock bottom. As long as I hold on to that light, darkness will never fall again. I'd rather give up everything I have now than let her go. The manager fell silent after hearing this. He was the new manager the company had just assigned to Gu Qingshui. Gu Qingshui. How a top-tier idol became a washed-up star drowning in scandals. And she knew all about it. Former agents would threaten her, putting a price tag on everything. And what about the fans who promised to love her forever, to never leave her side? Ended up leaving her in the end. They even turned on her, becoming anti-fans and attacking her, even without having experienced it firsthand. You can just imagine the darkness and despair she must have felt. If at a time like this, a man truly appeared who wouldn't cast her into darkness and bring a glimmer of light into Gu Qingshui's life, I imagine anyone in her shoes would have held on to that for dear life. Because that's the light, and a chance for redemption. But the manager wasn't a heartless person. In the end, he didn't force Gu Qingshui to break up with her boyfriend. She just spoke in a low voice. Then you'd better make sure you protect her well. Being in a relationship with someone in your position is already fraught with challenges. If the other person is just a civilian, she could get hurt very easily. And that harm will come from your fans. Gu Qingshui. Ming Qichu nodded and hummed in agreement. The agent continued. Showbiz Entertainment has decided to make you a star again. It's because they see your commercial value. Whether you have a boyfriend or not isn't really the most important thing. Actually, don't just go by what's written in the company's contract. That artists are not allowed to date for the first 5 years, but very few people actually follow it. But as your manager, you still need to tell me who your boyfriend is first. That way, I can be mentally prepared if anything happens in the future, and I can come up with a plan to deal with it. And on that point, Gu Qingshui knew her agent was right. It's not like she intended to keep it a secret anyway. It's just that her agent didn't ask it first. Besides, Gu Qingshui herself is a quiet and reserved person. It's not like she would go around shouting to the whole world about it, that she already had a boyfriend. In that case, the agent then asked Gu Qingshui. There is no reason to keep it a secret. The agent asked if he was a celebrity or just a regular person. Gu Qingshui replied, a civilian. But He's more handsome than most of the male celebrities out there. Gu Qingshui added that last part in her mind. Anyone who's a celebrity in the entertainment industry, the kind of star whose name every agent knows. Oh, a civilian, huh? What's her name? Have him come over sometime. Let me meet her. Gu Qingshui's expression immediately turned wary. If the agent was coveting some kind of treasure from him. So, what do you usually do when you meet? The agent was both annoyed and amused, laughing. All right. Don't give me that look like I'm about to steal your precious treasure. I was just giving her a few pointers. She's just a civilian, not a celebrity. Not a celebrity. Some of the unwritten rules of the entertainment industry, he just doesn't get it. What if he goes around bragging that He's your boyfriend? He's totally clueless. And who's the one who has to clean up the mess? Me. So I'm just giving him a heads up. You make it sound like I'm some kind of troublemaker. Gu Qingshui defended him, saying, Jiang Chen is not like that. I know you feel for your boyfriend. But what did you just say? The agent catches the name Gu Qingshui uses for her boyfriend, Jiang Chen. The manager's mind flashes to the new male president of Huangtian Entertainment, the eldest son of the Jiang family, the wealthiest in the country. And his name is, what do you know? Jiang Chen? I doubt it.
What a coincidence.
But what about the ban that was once placed on Gu Qingshui? It was ordered by that young lady from the Yang family. If it weren't for this young master, who would dare to be so audacious as to lift that ban, He's going to make Gu Qingshui a star all over again. The agent gulped, shocked by her own speculation. But feeling it was impossible, she couldn't help but ask Qingshui.
What's your boyfriend's full name?
Jiang Chen. Gu Qingshui whispered to her agent. I feel like I've been struck by lightning for the second time in my life today. I feel completely fried inside and out. Gu Qingshui noticed something was off with her agent's expression. What's wrong? Manager's voice was brimming with barely contained excitement. And you have the nerve to ask me what's wrong. You went and hooked up with the young master without saying a word. The agent was beaming, even if Gu Qingshui's relationship with him is just temporary. He is the girlfriend of the Jiang family's young master. As long as they don't end on bad terms, that would be enough. From then on, Gu Qingshui's career in the entertainment industry took off, and everything went smoothly for her. At first, the company assigned him to work with Gu Qingshui to be her manager. This must mean they value him a lot. Never thought He'd have this kind of opportunity. Gu Qingshui, however, frowned. She caught a few unfamiliar words from her agent's mouth. The young master. What young master? Qingshui has never once asked me about my identity. As for the latter, his information has always been kept under tight wraps. All the world knows is that the Jiang family, the wealthiest in Lancheng, has a young master, but they don't even know his name or what he looks like. Not even the all-knowing Baidu encyclopedia has an entry on him. Not a single photo of this young master Jiang. It all started with that wedding that took the entire city of Lancheng by storm, but he did invite the media.
So, you could say this was my first public appearance.
But the bride, Yang Yuting, had other plans and ran off. This was a huge blow to the Jiang family's reputation. Grandpa Jiang's heart ached for his grandson. So naturally, he wouldn't allow his grandson to be reduced to the point where had become the talk of the town. He ordered the media not to reveal a single thing about me. The richest man in the city holds a position of immense power and influence in Lancheng. His words carry immense weight, and no media company would dare risk going out of business to dare challenge the authority of the Jiang family, the wealthiest in the land. So any news about the heir to the wealthiest family? To this day, only a very small circle of Lanqing's elite are in the know. And after that, I asked Grandpa Zhang for the CEO position at Huangtian Entertainment and made a public appearance. But only the top executives at Huangtian Entertainment knew the truth. But the artists on the roster only knew that a new president had been parachuted in from above. His surname is Zhang Gu Qingshui. As an artist who had just recently made a comeback, she hasn't had the chance to get close to the top brass. So there's a lot she doesn't know. Besides, Gu Qingshui isn't a very curious person to begin with. Plus, Shay is a pretty low-key person. To this day, she still doesn't know the real name of the president of Huangtian Entertainment. So it's no surprise. Her agent gave Gu Qingshui a few strange looks. Don't tell me you still don't know who Jiang Chen is. Gu Qingshui parted her lips. All I know is that Hez my boyfriend. The manager was freaking out inside.
I'd love to see that.
So the artist Hez managing really has no idea who her own boyfriend is. Hez the young master of the Jiang family, the richest family in the country. Well, I didn't expect the young master to have such peculiar tastes. Is he playing some kind of role-playing game? Hez pretending to be a regular guy to date a celebrity. The manager's mouth twitched. Hez basically giving his own artist a lesson. Jiang Chen, the eldest young master of the Zhang family in Lancheng. Hez the grandson of Zhang Hongtao, the richest man in the country. Hez also the new CEO of Huangtian Entertainment Qingshui. Do you have any idea who he is now? Do you have any idea how incredibly lucky you are? With the young master Jiang backing you up, with him on your side, how could you possibly not make it big in the entertainment world? Gu Qingshui's expression remained calm and composed, but a storm was raging in her heart. So, it turns out Jiang Cheng is the young master of the Zhang family. So that means, and the fact that she was able to get her ban lifted, and get back in the good graces of Huangtian Entertainment, it's all because of Jiang Chen. Gu Qingshui bit her lip hard. Right now, there's only one thought on my mind, and that one thought was, I have to see him.
Right now?
To the office of the president of Huangtian Entertainment. On the 33rd floor, the very top, regular artists aren't allowed to come and go as they please. And that rule applied to everyone, even the former top idol Gu Qingshui. But Gu Qingshui insisted on going up. So, her agent had no choice but to take Gu Qingshui up to the 33rd floor. As soon as they stepped into the elevator, and as luck would have it, Yang Yuting was in the elevator too. Looks like she's also heading to the CEO's office on the 33rd floor, but Gu Qingshui had eyes only for the man in front of her. She didn't even spare a glance for Yang Yuting. Yang Yuting recognized Gu Qingshui. And that's because Jiang Yihan was a huge fan of this young pop idol. Yang Yuting had taken quite a few jabs at Gu Qingshui in the past, although the two had never actually crossed paths in real life. Yang Yuting's eyes sized up Gu Qingshui. Even with a critical and proud gaze, she had to admit, the young woman's beauty and grace were absolutely flawless. She has this undeniable star quality. Yang Yuting frowned, thinking to herself, didn't I order a boycott of this Gu Qingshui? How come Gu Qingshui still looks like a top-tier celebrity? If it hadn't affected her in the slightest, Gu Qingshui's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts. She completely ignored Yang Yuting's remark. It was you who got ignored by Gu Qingshui. Yang Yuting couldn't help but flare up with rage. How dare she ignore me? It was her agent who stepped in to smooth things over. Miss Yang, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. Do you happen to know our Qingshui? Furious, Yang Yuting sneered. Just an actress. And why would I want to know her? Just you wait. And get this, Gu Qingshui blacklisted again right now. Her agent forced an awkward smile, but she couldn't help but smirk to herself.
What's with the attitude? What's with the attitude?
No matter how full of yourself you are, Hez still the fiancé you couldn't keep. And that young master Jiang isn't even our Qingshui's boyfriend. The agent and Yang Yuting clash. Only then did Gu Qingshui snap out of her daze, hearing her manager just call her Yang Yuting, Miss Yang. So this must be Jiang Chen's ex-fiancé, Gu Qingshui. Her eyes shifted slightly. She sized her up for a moment. Yang Yuting. After realizing the other woman was no match for her in looks or figure. Only then did she feel relieved. They arrived at the 33rd floor. Yang Yuting was the first to step out of the elevator. The young woman and her agent followed behind at a leisurely pace. The agent said in a low voice, don't you worry, even if Miss Yang and Jiang Chen do end up in a marriage alliance, but Jiang Chen was your boyfriend after all. I won't let Miss Yang lay a finger on you again. Hearing this, Gu Qingshui's brow furrowed slightly. An arranged marriage.
But why would they have one?
Are you serious? Both the Yang and Zhang families are prominent, influential families in Lanzhong. Plus, they grew up together. So of course, they're meant to have an arranged marriage. The agent glanced at Gu Qingshui.
Don't tell me you're still thinking about marrying the young master someday.
Gu Qingshui remained silent. The manager patted her on the shoulder in a heartfelt tone. Qingshui, listen to me. Be realistic. The young master and you're from two different worlds. Dating is one thing, but marriage is another. But in the end, he still has to marry someone from his own social class. I heard Miss Yang is trying to win back the young master now. Do you want to win back the young master's heart? But they grew up together, you know? Who knows? Maybe one day they'll just make up and be as good as new. You know? You shouldn't take it so seriously. Just try not to take things too hard. Don't force it. Gu Qingshui, who had been silent all this time, suddenly lifted her eyes ever so slightly. Her eyes, like glazed porcelain, were a light, clear color, deep and profound. She looked at her agent. And what if I insist on having my way? As Gu Qingshui said this, her gaze revealed a hint of stubbornness, normally so aloof and composed. Finally, she had found someone to stand by her side in this fight. The agent's eyes widened in disbelief.
Hey, Qingshui.
What do you think you're doing? You can't do something reckless like that. She left her agent's frantic cries behind her. In a few strides, he reached the CEO's office. He reached out and pushed the door open. Yang Yuting, who had been talking to me. Hearing the door open and someone walk in, I turned my head and saw it was Gu Qingshui. Her brows immediately furrowed in displeasure. He asked, "How did you get in here? Aunt, you know how to knock. Besides, this is no place for a celebrity." Yang Yuting was acting as if she owned the place, ordering Gu Qingshui to leave.
Order.
I saw Gu Qingshui. When she suddenly appeared on the 33rd floor of Huangtian Entertainment, a flicker of surprise flashed in his eyes, but it was quickly concealed. I know Gu Qingshui must be aware of my true identity. It's not like I've ever deliberately tried to hide it. So, I have nothing to feel guilty about. Yang Yuting spoke up. He didn't say anything right away. He wanted to see what her attitude would be. Gu Qingshui shot back at Yang Yuting with a cool, indifferent tone. This isn't a place for an entertainer like me. And is this a place that Miss Yang can just waltz in and out of as she pleases? At this point, Gu Qingshui looked directly at Yang Yuting. Her gaze was faint, contained little to no emotion. Emotion, cold and detached. But as her lips parted, the words that came out made Yang Yuting feel like she was being mocked. As far as I know, Miss Yang, it seems you don't currently hold any official position. That's not the case. To see Mr. Jiang about business matters. As for personal matters, the engagement between Miss Yang and young Master Jiang was called off long ago. And it was all because of you, Miss Yang, because you cheated on him with some Z-list celebrity. So it seems you've lost all right to pester Mr. Jiang any further. That would be you, Miss Yang. Don't you think? Gu Qingshui didn't say anything too harsh. Her tone was calm and steady, but it successfully and precisely hit Yang Yuting where it hurt. I rested my chin on my hand. I watched him with great interest. This was a stark contrast to the cold and low-key persona he usually puts on, revealing a young woman with a sharp, edgy side. I seemed to be in a rather good mood, nor did she have any intention of stopping the young man. Instead, she leaned back in a leisurely, relaxed posture, enjoying the show. Yang Yuting's face instantly soured, like a cat that had just had its tail stepped on. Her expression turned absolutely hideous. Her eyes were ice-cold and filled with hostility, glaring viciously at Gu Qingshui. She demanded, "And who do you think you are? What's between me and Jiang Chen? And what right do you have to meddle in my affairs? And by what right do you think you can interfere?" But instead of backing down in the face of adversity, Gu Qingshui, instead, she took a few steps to his side, all under the shocked gaze of Yang Yuting. She leaned down and kissed me on the lips. Then he straightened up. He gave Yang Yuting a slight, sidelong glance. Gu Qingshui said in a soft voice, "Unfortunately for you, I happen to be Jiang Chen's girlfriend, so I believe those words are meant for you." Yang Yuting's pupils dilated in shock. Her eyes were wide with disbelief as she stared at the scene unfolding before her. He felt like he was going crazy. Jiang Chen. How dare he? How dare he cheat on me? And to cheat on her right in her own face. Feeling completely humiliated, Yang Yuting immediately shot a look at me, the fury in her eyes. Yes, if she wanted to strangle me right then and there, he demanded. Absolutely furious. "Jiang Chen, don't you think you owe me an explanation?"
How amusing,
he retorted. "And what is it you'd like me to explain, Miss Yang? And you're still playing dumb with me." Yang Yuting pointed directly at Gu Qingshui. "What is her deal?" "I'm not the least bit guilty." With a gentle smile, he pulls the young woman to sit beside him. He had Gu Qingshui sit on the same chair with him. It gave off the vibe of a powerful CEO holding his sweet young wife. "As you can see, my girlfriend." I tilted my head and planted a soft kiss on Gu Qingshui's cheek. He raised an eyebrow at Yang Yuting with a smirk. "Miss Yang, any more questions?" Yang Yuting's face turned a furious, livid purple as she glared at Jiang Chen. "So Shez's your girlfriend? Then what about me? So what does that make me? Your fiancé? You don't count for a damn thing." "Allow me to remind you, Miss Yang. But the moment I saw you, I knew you weren't." I shot a contemptuous glance at Yang Yuting. "So, you know, Hez single, I'm just trying to have a normal relationship.
Just dating someone new.
Don't act like I'm the one who cheated on you." Yang Yuting's face darkened. "So, Jiang Chen, you were just playing me." I let her try to win me back. She thought I was going soft on her, and that I still had feelings for her. So, I gave her a chance to win me back. All this time, Yang Yuting had been putting up with everything, without a single complaint, and put up with all my moods. Little did she know, I was already hooking up with this celebrity. And all this time, I was just deceiving him. And as for me, Jiang Chen.
"You've been playing me this whole time."
The look Yang Yuting gave me, her eyes were practically begging to devour me whole. And there I was, just soaking in the drama from that gaze. "I wasn't about to miss the drama," he retorted, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "You're only realizing it now. How stupid." After I humiliated her like that, there was no way Yang Yuting was going to stick around after that. Yang Yuting slammed the door on her way out. In the CEO's office on the 33rd floor of Huangtian Entertainment, suddenly it was just me and Gu Qingshui left. with only one seat between us. Two of us sitting together, it wasn't exactly spacious. Gu Qingshui had just acted on impulse and just showed off our affection right in front of Yang Yuding. Right now, the entire space is this cool-toned, formal, and serious professional environment. Now, it was just the two of them sitting beside me, the young woman sitting right next to me. Suddenly, I felt awkward and out of place. Her movements were a little flustered. She flusteredly tried to get up, but I reached out and gently pulled her back down, and gently guided her back into her seat. I smiled and began to speak. "Are you mad at me?" Gu Qingshui softly said. I turned my head, not out of instinct. And just like that, her lips met mine. Gu Qingshui froze. She probably never expected something like this to happen either. She even held her breath. She was frozen in place, completely motionless. With my lips pressed against hers, I said with a smile, "Sister, what a wonderful surprise this is."
There, sis.
Don't be mad anymore, okay? Gu Qingshui averted her gaze. Then she said, "No, I was never angry with you. How could I ever be?" "Really?" I cupped her face in my hands and gently turned Gu Qingshui's face towards me and made her look into my eyes. "So you're really not mad at me that I kept things from you, that I didn't tell you about my identity?" Gu Qingshui's reply was soft, but her voice was firm. "Besides, it's not like I ever asked you." She looked straight into my eyes. She said softly, "So, it's not like I was hiding anything." A flicker of pleasure ran through me. Although even if Gu Qingshui, because of the fact that I hid my identity from her, and even if she gets mad, I can easily win her back. But it would have been a bit dull and uninteresting. But for now, our hearts are connected, and it feels so good. I gave her a soft, gentle kiss. Oh, this goddess-like girl is just perfect. Gu Qingshui fought the urge to kiss him back, but there was still something else on her mind. That Yang Yuding. Is it really okay for us to be like this? Everyone says the Yang and Zhang families are a perfect match. Jiang Cheng and Yang Yuding grew up together and were destined to be married. Just before Yang Yuting left, with a dark look on her face, I'm afraid she won't let this go so easily. Gu Qingshui came from a humble background. She doesn't understand the endless feuds and grudges among the wealthy families. But she's worried about me. My sister doesn't have to be, since I dared to do it. Aren't you afraid of retaliation from Yang Yuting or the Yang family? To keep the young woman from worrying about this matter, I decided to explain a few things to her. When it comes to power and wealth in Blue City, the Yang family is no match for the Jiang family. The Yang family's success today is largely thanks to the Jiang family's influence. Dealing with the Yang family should have taken some time, but now there's old Master Yang within the Yang group, someone you'd never expect. He wants to bring down the Yang family even more than I do, with this inside man. Taking down the Yang family will be a piece of cake. After listening, Gu Qingshui parted her lips to speak. Good. He can finally rest easy, I asked, speaking slowly.
So, you don't hate Yang Yuting?
You should know by now that it was Yang Yuting who did all those things to you. Right. Hate her. Not really. Both love and hate are precious emotions. He wouldn't waste it on someone like Yang Yuting, on someone so insignificant. Gu Qingshui was simply curious about one thing.
Why would Yang Yuting go after me?
I answered, enunciating each word. Because of Zhang Yihan. Zhang Yihan. If my agent hadn't mentioned that name today,
Gu Qingshui wouldn't even know.
And Zhang Yihan, of course, was a name she had only just heard of. Gu Qingshui began to speak. I don't know him. Back when he was a top-tier idol, Gu Qingshui wouldn't have paid any attention to a nobody like Zhang Yihan. Later, he fell from grace and became a has-been. Zhang Yihan's rise to fame. Gu Qingshui had never really paid much attention to the ever-changing landscape of the entertainment industry. He had no idea why he was suddenly being targeted for no reason. And just because of some guy named Zhang Yihan Shed never even met, she ended up on Yang Yuting's radar. He issued a ban. Let me clear things up for Gu Qingshui. Zhang Yihan is your fan. At first, Gu Qingshui didn't quite get what he was saying. What does Yang Yuting going after him have to do with Zhang Yihan being her fan? It wasn't until Gu Qingshui remembered Yang Yuting, who seems to be having an affair with Zhang Yihan. I was just speechless for a moment. Is there something wrong with this Yang Yuting? I've never seen the Ice Queen be so sharp-tongued before. But she still managed to hit the nail on the head. I mean, isn't it obvious that Yang Yuting has a screw loose? I couldn't help but chuckle, and chimed in, clearly agreeing. Has got a screw loose, that's for sure. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten jealous over you chasing after Zhang Yihan and then blacklisted you. But at the end of the day, or maybe it's just that you're too pretty for your own good. You just have a way of attracting admirers. Gu Qingshui pursed her lips. It was rare to see such a cold and aloof woman show a hint of childlike innocence. And this is my fault. How? Seeing the wronged look on her face, I quickly leaned in to comfort her with a kiss. Of course not. It's not your fault. Our girl is so gorgeous. If anyone's to blame, it's Zhang Yihan for having such evil intentions. Speaking of Yang Yuting, Gu Qingshui always had a thorn in her heart. Jiang Chen, do you like Yang Yuting? Gu Qingshui's delicate eyelashes fluttered as she lowered her gaze. After asking that, you don't even dare to look me in the eye. I cupped her face in my hands, forcing her to look at me. Are you jealous, my lady? I know she has a cool and aloof personality, but she's also pure and shy. As for my question, she would probably just stay silent. To be honest, I didn't expect to get anything out of our goddess sweetie anyway. Hear any sweet nothings. But instead, I heard a story. Qing Xue said softly, "That's right. About the fact that Yang Yuting was once your fiancé. I'm so jealous. I know I shouldn't be the one who's late to your life. Even though I'm many years too late, and I can't blame anyone for it. But I can't help being jealous." This is the first time Gu Qingshui has been so direct, opening up to me about what's truly in her heart. You know, I actually kind of like this. You know, I'm really starting to like our little sweetie, the host, and gives her a kiss on the forehead, watching her as she begins to speak. Don't be jealous, sis. You're mine now, and now I'm yours too. As for Yang Yuting, just pretend I was blind back then. I guess I was just too naive and misjudged her completely. Talking about the original him. I don't feel the slightest bit of pressure. Anyway, from my perspective, all this for a woman like Yang Yuting, and end up in such a miserable state. He was just a fool, but Gu Qingshui. Don't? You see? I wasn't talking about myself. Don't talk about yourself like that. Gu Qingshui said that it was Yang Yuting who was the bad one. He'll treat you right from now on, not like Yang Yuting. I chuckled and began to speak. Well, I'll be waiting to see it. Sometime later, Old Master Yang had dedicated his entire life to expanding and glorifying the Yang group and elevate the Yang family to new heights. He had spent years scheming for this very moment. He even had his granddaughter, Yang Yuting, curry favor with the wealthiest man in the country from a young age, the young master of the Jiang family. In the end, the Yang family was half destroyed. You could say it was completely ruined by his two beloved granddaughters, one directly and the other indirectly. Unable to withstand this devastating blow, Old Master Yang fell gravely ill. The Yang family was hit by such a devastating blow, with Old Master Yang being the family's pillar of support, and collapsed once again. An old money dynasty, and just like that, the Yang family's legacy vanished from the upper echelons of Lancheng's high society. The Yang family was finished. This time, Yang Yuting was no longer the heiress of the Yang family. All of their savings and properties were seized by the bank and sold at auction. This time, she was truly, utterly left with nothing, with nowhere else to turn. Yang Yuting thought of her one true love, Zhang Yihan. She knocked on the door of the shabby little apartment Zhang Yihan was currently renting. Zhang Yihan opened the door. Seeing who it was, his face froze, because it wasn't just Yang Yuting who had arrived, but also Yang Yuting's mother, Mrs. Yang. Yang Yuting's shirt was all crumpled and wrinkled. If she hadn't changed it in days, her deep, dark eyes were also bloodshot. She looked every bit the part of a fallen socialite. Deja vu. A shadow of gloom crept into Yang Yuting's eyes, hidden beneath her dark hair. Her eyes, gaze deep and intense, fell upon Zhang Yihan.
Yihan.
You've probably heard about what happened with the Yang family, right? Zhang Yihan pressed his lips together. He gave a slight nod. Yuting, please don't be upset. I know you'll get through this. Yang Yuting forced a bitter smile. She slowly began to speak, her voice full of meaning. My mom and I, we have nowhere to go right now. Could I stay here with you for a little while? To say something like that for Yang Yuting, and to do so in front of the man she loves, to personally shatter her pride piece by piece, and an incredibly painful one at that. Zhang Yihan's face stiffened for a moment, and take in Yang Yuting. Even for him, that was a bit of a stretch, and now he has to take in Yang Yuting. Her mother, a wealthy socialite who looks like she'd be a total nightmare to deal with. Deep down, Zhang Yihan was against it. But after all, Yang Yuting was his one true love. At least for now, she is. Zhang Yihan stared at Yang Yuting, unable to utter a single word of refusal. So, he had no choice but to let Yang Yuting and her son in. As soon as Mrs. Yang walked in, her high heels clicking, she then looked around Zhang Yihan's apartment with utter disdain, making all sorts of critical comments. How can anyone live in a tiny place like this? The bathroom in our house is bigger than this entire room. And this floor, it's absolutely filthy. I can't even imagine how many days it's been since this was cleaned. It's like a garbage dump. Zhang Yihan's expression darkened, as you might expect. Is that supposed to mean he lives in a toilet? Mrs. Yang clearly hadn't gotten a grip on her new reality. She still thinks she is that glamorous socialite from back in the day, just standing there with her arms crossed, not lifting a finger. He cleaned the entire place from top to bottom, inside and out, and then complained that the second bedroom was too small. She demanded that Zhang Yihan give up the master bedroom for her. After finishing everything, Zhang Yihan was so exhausted he could barely straighten his back. Lying on the bed in the second bedroom, he felt so wronged. Whenever Mrs. Yang ordered Zhang Yihan around, Yang Yuting didn't dare to say a single word, and the only thing she'd do was hold Zhang Yihan and kiss him at a time like this. Contact Zhang Yihan. Thank you for all your hard work. That's just how my mom is. Don't mind her. Just be a little more patient with her. Yang Yuting and Mrs. Yang had absolutely no sense that they were usurping someone else's place, because from the perspective of both Yang Yuting and Mrs. Yang, Zhang Yihan was going to marry her eventually anyway, and Mrs. Yang would eventually be his mother-in-law. As a son-in-law, it's perfectly fine to be a bit more tolerant of your mother-in-law. He thought to himself, if it weren't for the Yang family's bankruptcy, the Yang family had fallen from grace. He had nowhere else to go. I would never accept a son-in-law like him. To be able to marry up to their daughter, he should be so lucky. What's wrong with her ordering Zhang Yihan around a little? Yang Yuting and Mrs. Yang took this for granted, but deep down, Zhang Yihan was seething with resentment. He was feeling so wronged. Who would want to marry Yang Yuting? The Yang family is bankrupt now. And as for him, Zhang Yihan, He's young and handsome, and He's just a minor celebrity. You don't have to be hung up on Yang Yuting, you know? Yang Yuting, however, was too proud to accept defeat. All she could think about was restoring her family's honor. She sweet-talked Jiang Yihan into using his life savings to start a business. As a result, most of the money Jiang Yihan had earned over the years, and lost every last penny. Not only did Yang Yuting show no intention of paying him back, she even had the nerve to ask Jiang Yihan for more money. All he said was to give him one more chance. This time, he's sure he can make a comeback. When it comes to money, Jiang Yihan is finally breaking free from the love-struck male lead stereotype. There was no way he was going to give the rest of the money to Yang Yuting. A risky gamble. He tried his best to reason with Yang Yuting. He still had to say it. Yuting, the Jiang family has made up their mind to come after you. There is no way we're letting you make a comeback. Why don't you just be smart and go find a job? After a heated argument with Jiang Yihan, it seemed she had also given up on reviving the Yang family and started looking for a job. Considering her resume, which boasts a degree in finance from a prestigious foreign university, finding a good job in Lancheng wouldn't be difficult. Besides, it's not like the Jiang family would go so far as to prevent Yang Yuting from finding a job, drive someone to their death, and give people something to gossip about. But as it turns out, the resume Yang Yuting sent out was quite impressive, to be sure. But the position she was applying for, the CEO. I mean, what company is in the market for a CEO? Are you kidding me? As you can imagine, every resume Yang Yuting sent out went completely unanswered. He'd have to start at the company as a low-level employee. Of course, Yang Yuting found this completely unacceptable, all because of her pride. He would never allow her to go work for someone else's company. And as time went on, as for Yang Yuting, she was left with nothing to do but stay at home. She had no choice but to be supported by Jiang Yihan. Jiang Yihan, she was no longer the rising starlet she once was. She's back to being the struggling actress she was before she got famous. She could only land bit parts. Her income was a far cry from what it used to be. Yang Yuting and her son, Mrs. Yang in particular, was a big spender who was used to a lavish lifestyle. Now, they're living in Jiang Yihan's apartment, and she shows no signs of stopping. This was because Mrs. Yang saw herself as Jiang Yihan's future mother-in-law. She thinks spending a bit of Jiang Yihan's money is no big deal. If it weren't for the Yang family backing her up, Jiang Yihan wouldn't even dream of stepping foot in the Yang family's house. Now, Jiang Yihan finally had the chance to properly show his gratitude to her. Having her as a mother-in-law is an honor for Jiang Yihan, with this kind of superior attitude, while Mrs. Yang secretly looked down on Jiang Yihan, while on the other, she was reaching out to Jiang Yihan for money. Her spending sprees were nothing compared to how she used to live, but it was still a life of luxury, all things considered. Jiang Yihan was left with no other choice. He had no choice but to grit his teeth and keep acting. She couldn't land any decent roles. He could only land bit parts as the villain in various TV shows and movies. Over time, he practically became typecast as the go-to villain, in stark contrast to Jiang Yihan's rocky road to stardom. Meanwhile, Gu Qingshui's path in the entertainment industry was paved with success. But in just a short year's time, Gu Qingshui had reclaimed her spot as a top-tier idol, even more popular than before, and her fan base had grown even larger than before. Jiang Yihan had once seen her from a distance at the Huangtian Entertainment headquarters.
One look.
His idol seemed to have grown even more beautiful, and her aura has grown even more composed and noble with time. One look, and I feel like I'm not worthy of her. She had thought about getting closer to Gu Qingshui, and no longer harbored any other ridiculous ulterior motives. He just wanted to get closer to his idol as a fan. However, Gu Qingshui's agent seemed to be quite hostile towards him, and was on high alert. Jiang Yihan could never get close to him. There was a time he was so close to him. Now, even just to say a single word to him has become a distant dream. Jiang Yihan could only see her on TV or in variety shows, searching for a glimpse of her, buying Gu Qingshui's posters and albums. Yang Yuting and her son were now living in Jiang Yihan's apartment. Naturally, Jiang Yihan's fanboy antics didn't escape Yang Yuting's notice. Back when Yang Yuting was still the president of the Yang Group, she was jealous simply because Jiang Yihan was a fan of Gu Qingshui, even if it was just the kind of admiration a fan has for their idol. Besides, Yang Yuting was never a part of high society to begin with. Jiang Yihan went and bought posters and albums of another woman. This pierced right through Yang Yuting's sensitive and proud heart. Jiang Yihan,
what are you trying to say?
So you're in love with this woman? Is that it? Because the Yang family went bankrupt. Because I, Yang Yuting, have fallen from grace. And you've already found someone new. Isn't that it? Before, whenever Yang Yuting got jealous, she could just say the word and have Gu Qingshui blacklisted. But now, there's nothing she can do. All she can do is vent her anger and frustration with words. Jiang Yihan, let me tell you something. It doesn't matter if you like him. You thought I was the one who blacklisted her back then? Then how did she manage to make a comeback? Isn't it obvious? It's because she hooked up with Jiang Chen, my dear ex-fiancé, Yang Yuting. And now, she hates my guts. The moment my name is brought up, she grits her teeth, spitting out every single word. Jiang Yihan was stunned by Yang Yuting's words. If you could say that Gu Qingshui was the one he could never have, then to some extent, I was pretty much the most detestable person in his entire life, and he was just Yang Yuting's pretty boy. I was the one holding the title of Yang Yuting's fiancé. She became a disgrace, something to be kept in the shadows. Not to mention, I later gave the word to have her career completely shut down, And just like that, she was finished. So, when she heard that the man she hated most in her entire life was having an affair with the very idol he worshipped, his goddess, Zhang Yueguang, their relationship was anything but innocent. Jiang Yihan completely lost it. No way.
That's impossible.
That's a lie.
Jiang Yihan couldn't stop shaking his head. He looked completely hysterical. At this point, Yang Yuting and Jiang Yihan had pretty much grown to despise each other. Seeing Jiang Yihan in this state, surprisingly, she wasn't even that shocked. She was just momentarily stunned by Jiang Yihan's frenzied look, but quickly snapped out of it. He let out a cold laugh. Me. Talking nonsense. I saw it with my own eyes. The idol you're so obsessed with in front of Jiang Chen, she has all smiles and flattery. Jiang Yihan's probably thinking, I'm totally losing my shit right now. He slapped Yang Yuting across the face. Tell him to get out, but she was the first to break, burying her face in her hands as she ran out. After running out, it was only then that Jiang Yihan realized. He looked around, only to find he had nowhere to go. In the end, he walked into a bar. He ordered the strongest drink they had. He was drinking his sorrows away. The next day, Jiang Yihan woke up with a splitting headache from the hangover, only to find himself in a strange woman's bed. It was a thunderbolt. So, this is what it's all about. The strange woman was in her 40s, and she knows Jiang Yihan, and sweet-talked her into it. I've had a crush on you for a long time. Don't you worry. I will definitely take responsibility, and will treat you right. Besides Jiang Yihan, He's not as popular as he used to be. He's famous, in that regard, as a pretty boy. Jiang Yihan still fits the bill perfectly. Young, handsome, and tender. The people I sent to keep an eye on Yang Yuting and Jiang Yihan came back and reported it to him. And that includes Jiang Yihan. Last night, he had a huge fight with Yang Yuting over Gu Qing. He ran off to a bar to drown his sorrows. He was picked up by a rich, middle-aged woman. The two ended up in bed together. Later word got out that Jiang Yihan was being kept by that older woman for a while, and became his secret lover. But on the other hand, he hadn't completely broken things off with Yang Yuting, and they were still entangled. But that rich woman was actually pretty good to Jiang Yihan, and enjoyed the pleasures of his young, fresh body. She didn't treat him badly. She was giving Jiang Yihan hundreds of thousands in pocket money every month. He even pulled some strings in the entertainment industry to get some gigs for Jiang Yihan. Jiang Yihan could finally stop being just an extra, playing the villainous, supporting male character, and these roles seemed to help his popularity soar. The good times didn't last long. It turns out, Jiang Yihan's sugar mommy is a married woman. The patron's husband confronts Jiang Yihan. He didn't even give his wife any face and just went straight for him. Jiang Yihan had just gotten up. Jiang Yihan's fledgling acting career immediately hit a Waterloo. They're universally despised by everyone, and there was no way Yang Yuting would forgive Jiang Yihan for betraying her. Furious, she lashed out and slapped Jiang Yihan across the face. Her eyes were bloodshot. Through gritted teeth, she burst out cursing. You bastard, Jiang Yihan. I gave up marrying Jiang Cheng for you. So, this is how you repay me by betraying me, and you cheated on me. And you go for some old hag like her. You're disgusting. If it weren't for you, how did I go from being the high and mighty Miss Yang to end up like this? If it weren't for you, I'm still the daughter-in-law of the Jiang family, the wealthiest in the country, marrying Jiang Chen. And one day, the entire Jiang family will be mine. Jiang Yihan, you're dead to me. Things had come to this point. Jiang Yihan had completely lost any sense of shame, unlike Yang Yuting, who only knew how to ask him for money. So, it was a classic case of mutual disgust. He shot back with a scathing remark. Yang Yuting. And you're telling me you did that for me?
You were doing it for yourself.
And you couldn't bring yourself to shamelessly suck up to the young master Jiang and be called a woman with no taste. But you couldn't defy your grandfather's orders. So you have no choice but to please me. I was just a convenient excuse for you to use the banner of true love, and a convenient excuse for you to openly defy your grandfather. And why do you think the Yang family was destroyed? Don't tell me you don't know the answer to that? If it weren't for your grandfather's insatiable greed, you tried to use marriage to scheme against the Jiang family? Why else would the Jiang family stoop to your level to deal with the Yangs? Even without me, your Yang family has done too many wicked things. You won't last long either. Shut up. Just shut up. Yang Yuting lunges forward, grabbing Jiang Yihan by the throat. Provoked by Jiang Yihan's words, her expression grew dangerously unhinged. Jiang Yihan's face turned beet red as he was choked. He couldn't breathe. Instinctively, his hand grasped something. He then raised his hand and slammed it hard against Yang Yuting's temple. A stream of bright red blood trickled down from Yang Yuting's forehead. Once a third-tier pretty boy, Jiang Yihan now assaults a person. The fallen socialite, Miss Yang, lies unconscious. To keep from being strangled, Jiang Yihan, he raised the ashtray and smashed it viciously against Yang Yuting's head to save himself. Mrs. Yang, returning home from shopping, saw her daughter's face covered in blood, lying unconscious on the ground, and immediately called the police. Jiang Yihan was arrested by the police on charges of intentional assault. Meanwhile, Yang Yuting is still in a coma. This whole thing happened right in the middle of a viral trend of wives publicly shaming their husbands' mistresses. Jiang Yihan is one of the main male leads. So, It quickly made headlines. Otherwise, for a washed-up star like Jiang Yihan, he might never have made it back onto the trending list. He's a business prodigy in his own right and started his own company. And his company does business with the Jiang Group. I didn't really pay much attention to the whole main couple drama after that. Affair. I actually heard it from Lu Siki. I slowly swiveled my chair around and let out a chuckle. Well then, congratulations President Lu on getting your revenge. After the Yang family went bankrupt, Old Master Yang, his spirit was completely crushed along with it. It wasn't long before he passed away. As for Yang Yuting, she's now in a coma. She might become a vegetable, confined to a bed for the rest of her life. Lu Siki hated the Yang family. This must be the outcome she was hoping for, right? Lu Siki gave a faint smile. Congratulations to you too. The Yang family has been scheming against you for over a decade, all to get their hands on the Jiang family's fortune. Yang Yuting cheated on you while she was your fiancé. And Jiang Yihan, he kept claiming it was all about true love. And now, this is the fate that has befallen them. A classic tale of love turning into hate. I bet the young Master Jiang is feeling pretty pleased with himself too. I just smiled. I stood up and shook hands with Lu Siki. Just then, the door opened from the outside. Gu Qingshui walked in. He saw me holding hands with Lu Siki. She pressed her lips together. She didn't say a word, but his glassy, light-colored eyes dimmed slightly. I calmly withdrew my hand. A handshake is merely a business courtesy, nothing more. Seeing this, Lu Siki quickly said his goodbyes. You have a visitor, Mr. Jiang. Then, until we meet again, he said and took his leave. I was sitting behind my desk. He crooked his finger at Gu Qingshui. Come here, my dear. Even though she knew perfectly well that a handshake is just a form of etiquette, seeing another woman hold my hand with her own eyes, Gu Qingshui still couldn't shake off the feeling of displeasure. Hearing my words, Gu Qingshui bit her lip. Come, have a seat. I pulled Gu Qingshui down to sit beside me and lifted her chin with my fingers, studying her expression closely. She said with a beaming smile,
"What's wrong?
Looks like someone's a little upset." Gu Qingshui asked. Who was that just now? I explained.
Just a business partner.
I teamed up with Lu Siki to take down the Yang family, and it was a pleasure working with her. I tilted Gu Qingshui's chin up and kissed her on the lips.
All right there.
If you don't like it, I just won't have anything to do with her from now on. I guess I'm just a heartless person like that. The ones I truly care about, I'm willing to spoil them, even if they wanted the stars in the sky. I could even take on the 24 Mansion Star Lords. I'd pluck the stars from the sky and give them to him. As for those who don't even cross my mind, I don't care who you are. Their name probably won't even leave a trace in my memory. Gu Qingshui cleared her throat. Her ears turned slightly red. She said in a low voice, to be honest, I'm not really upset. Really? I looked at him with a smile. Gu Qingshui cleared her throat softly, then corrected herself. Just a little. After a long pause, he finally spoke, his voice slow and hesitant. Chen, you don't think I'm being unreasonable, do you? He said in a domineering tone. Of course not.
With me.
My lady has the right to be unreasonable. Gu Qingshui indifferently lifted her eyes. Her crystal-like eyes sparkled with a brilliant light, realizing she had overreacted. A faint blush crept across Gu Qingshui's face.
Embarrassed.
Don't open your eyes, she said softly. My concert is coming up in a little while. Will you be there? I smiled and said.
Of course I'm going.
It's a concert by the hottest idol after all. It was being held at the largest stadium in Blue City. The stadium could hold tens of thousands of people. Gu Qingshui had made a special request for the organizers to save the best seat for me. That night, I picked up my fan support kit at the entrance. I was holding up a fan sign that said, "Marry me today, my queen," and took my seat in the front row of the concert. Screams and cheers from the fans echoed all around, and the sound of music. And my girl was standing there on stage, bathed in a brilliant, radiant light. The corners of my lips curled up. But around me, Gu Qingshui is just a sweet, sweet girl. So pure and shy, but on stage, as an idol, she's this beautiful, cool figure. I've never seen a concert get this wild before. The music seemed to be lifting the very roof off the stadium. As the 2-hour concert was drawing to a close, the upbeat song suddenly took a sharp turn, transitioning into a beautiful and soothing piano piece. The young woman sat down at the piano. Every gesture she made was filled with a sense of noble grace and elegance. The piece is Für Elise. The entire venue fell silent. In the stadium, all eyes were fixed on the young woman at the piano. She was the very source of the light. The fans and I were all captivated by the final piano piece of the concert for a long moment, but the one for whom the music was played had yet to appear. The fans cheered, waving their support signs and glow sticks, chanting their idol's name. Gu Qingshui raised a finger. Putting a finger to her lips, she shushed the crowd, and within 3 seconds, the entire venue fell silent. The young woman rises from the piano. Her cool voice came through the microphone pinned to her collar, echoing throughout the entire concert venue. Thank you all for coming to my concert tonight. I once fell into an abyss and walked a lonely path, never seeing the light of day. Before all this, I never imagined a day would come when Eddie'd be standing on stage, bathed in the starlight. With that, Gu Qingshui bowed politely to the 4 corners of the stage. Her expression was earnest and solemn. The fans who were already on an emotional high saw this and,
one by one, they covered their mouths
and began to cry silently. They had once turned their backs on him, believing the rumors and gossip, and shattered his starlight with their own hands. From now on, I hope I am not the one who only comes for your fame in your moments of glory. Nor will I walk away when you're at your lowest. No one knew who started it. And then, many people began to shout in unison. Nor will I flock to you for your fame and glory. Nor will we walk away when you're at your lowest. After a long moment, after the thunderous applause and excited cheers had died down a little, only then did Gu Qingshui continue, speaking slowly. And today, here, and there's one person I want to thank more than anyone else. He was the one who brought me light in the darkness, so I wouldn't have to face the end all alone. He's the one who wanted me to be covered in starlight and stand in the spotlight. That's what gave me the courage to step back onto the stage. My expression flickered. The next moment, the entire venue was plunged into darkness. A spotlight, like a faint and hazy April moon, fell upon me. As the spotlight fell upon me, the cameras rolling on site also turned their lenses on me. And so, on the several giant screens throughout the concert venue, my face and figure were also on display. The crowd of fans was stunned. Who is that guy? Hez, so handsome. Could he be the person she said she wanted to thank the most? Gu Qingshui stood on the stage, across a sea of faces and a sea of brilliant lights. And just like that, her gaze gently swept over in this direction. Her voice, clear and gentle, began to speak. Jiang Chen, you are the person I'm most grateful for. And the one I love the most in this life, and the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. I've been thinking about how to plan the perfect proposal to be grand and magnificent enough.
One, that's worthy of you.
After thinking long and hard, and I've decided to make it happen today because I want to share my glory with you. For any other top idol in the entertainment industry, publicly announce a relationship at a concert, or even a public marriage proposal. The inevitable result would be a fierce backlash from their fans. But Gu Qingshui was a different story for today's proposal. She's been preparing for this for a long time, starting from her comeback. Even if the fans can't accept it, and a massive wave of them unfollows her. If you feel the same way I do, could you come to me? She walked over to my side. After a brief pause, the young woman's lips curved into a soft, gentle smile. If this feels too sudden, it's okay if you can't give me an answer right now. No matter what, in this life, I've already decided it's you. Even if you proposed 100 times, if you would just come to me, even once, I would feel like my life is complete. A surprise proposal. It was also a total surprise for the fans. But as for the idol who left when she was at her lowest, they abandoned him, leaving him all alone in the abyss.
Leaving him to walk alone in the dark for so long.
As for them, and it seems they don't really have a leg to stand on, to go against the very person who saved their idol. And so, the fans started chanting, "Say yes! Say yes!" A top-tier idol proposing to her boyfriend at her own concert. And the fans even started chanting along with the proposal. This is probably a one-of-a-kind moment in the entertainment world. I smirked. I gracefully rose to my feet under the watchful eyes of the entire crowd. Seeing my move, Gu Qingshui on the stage, her beautiful glass-like eyes were filled with tension. A brilliant glint of light sparked within her gentle eyes. Fans all parted, making a clear path for me, amidst the sounds of blessing and the gaze of well-wishers. I finally made my way to Gu Qingshui's side. I reached out my hand to her. Meanwhile, off to the side below the stage, the manager was rubbing his hands together, brimming with excitement. He excitedly directed the lighting and props crew.
Yes.
The proposal operation is a success. Lighting crew make the lights on Qingshui and the young master even more dazzling. Props team, get the pedals ready, and the pedals. Get them all set up right now. Our own artist managed to win over the young master. Her wish has finally come true. Life is perfect. Her agent was overjoyed as well. Tears of joy welled up in my eyes. Gu Qingshui's comeback concert, a project nearly a year in the making, has finally come to a close. Backstage, Gu Qingshui took my hand. We made our way through the hallway and into the dressing room. The moment the door closed, Gu Qingshui cupped my face in her hands and kissed me urgently. I was met with a rare display of passion from Gu Qingshui. Next day, the entertainment headlines in Lancheng were completely dominated by Gu Qingshui about her successful proposal to a mysterious boyfriend at her concert last night. The omnipotent netizens. They even dug up the identity of the top idol's fiancé. Although I have to admit, for the past 10+ years, I was very well protected by Old Master Jiang. Not even the all-powerful search engine Baidu could stop it, and even managed to get a glimpse of the first heir of the Jiang family. But later, I became the CEO of Huangtian Entertainment, and that was my official debut in the public eye. So, for anyone determined enough to dig into my background, it wouldn't be that hard to uncover my identity. Public opinion online was divided. Major media outlets all rushed to cover the story. The news of the young master dating a showbiz idol, and the possibility of them getting married in the future, dominating the headlines of both the business and entertainment sections.
Yang Yuting came to from her coma.
Out of the danger zone, Zhang Yihan, who was in custody, on the grounds that injuring Yang Yuting was an act of self-defense, and was acquitted and released. As soon as Zhang Yihan was released from prison,
walking down the street,
he overheard some young guys talking about Gu Qingshui, the concert last night. Did you guys go?
Yeah, I went.
It was amazing. Gu Qingshui proposed to her boyfriend. I heard they've been planning this proposal for a long time.
So romantic.
Even though I don't really want my sister to have a boyfriend. But it's not easy for my sister to find a guy she actually likes. We should be supportive. Besides, young Master Jiang is definitely a perfect match for my sister. And that's not all. I'm even worried about the Jiang family. They're the richest in Shilancheng. This family is on a whole other level of rich. Even my sister couldn't marry into that family.
Zhang Yihan's hair was a mess.
Her face deathly pale. She stepped forward, blocking the path of the boys. He asked, his voice filled with panic.
What are you talking about?
Sister.
Young Master Jiang.
Who's this sister you're talking about?
One of the guys noticed that Jiang Yihan didn't look right and timidly tried to pull her hand back. Hand, which was starting to hurt from Jiang Yihan's tight grip. He replied in a displeased tone. Are you living under a rock? How many other sisters could there possibly be? Of course, it's Gu Qingshui. Gu Qingshui.
Young Master Jiang.
So what Yang Yuting said was true.
Jiang Yihan looked utterly devastated. The other guys glanced at Jiang Yihan, their eyes filled with unease. The guys quickly scurried away, leaving Jiang Yihan standing there alone, muttering to himself.
Why?
Why did it have to be like this?
Why is everything about Zhang Chen?
Even Gu Qingshui was part of Yang Yuting's scheme. He's awake, all right? It seems like He's not quite right in the head anymore. He doesn't remember Jiang Yihan. He doesn't remember the Yang family going bankrupt. He doesn't even remember getting his head bashed in. His mind was in complete chaos. He was so messed up that he thought we were childhood sweethearts, the person he actually loves. She was the one who said that as long as we graduated, we would get married. It got to the point where Yang Yuting saw on TV and saw the footage of me with Gu Qingshui. Shez completely lost it, screaming no, over and over again.
Zhang Chen is mine.
He belongs to me. Hez mine. He can't marry anyone else?
Zhang Chen. I was wrong.
You're the one I love.
I shouldn't have treated you like that. Jiang Chen, please forgive me. In the end, Yang Yuting had no choice but to be sent to a mental hospital, ending up just like I did in my past life. I guess you could say justice has been served. What goes around comes around. At the Jiang residence, Gu Qingshui and I went together to pay our respects to the old Master Jiang. The young woman was nervous, even more nervous than she was on her first time on stage. Soon, old Master Jiang came out. He couldn't believe he was the last one to know. I know, he was not pleased. However, after meeting Gu Qingshui in person, but as for old Master Jiang, he was quite pleased. Perhaps Gu Qingshui wasn't the golden child, the apple of everyone's eye that Yang Yuting was from a young age. But in one crucial aspect, Yang Yuting was no match for the young woman standing before them. And that is, to genuinely love and cherish his grandson. The Jiang family is already the wealthiest and most powerful family in Lansheng, without having to sacrifice the next generation's happiness, or who he marries. And Jiang Hongtao only has this one grandson,